Hello and welcome to the show. This is the Cult of Conspiracy, and I'm the Cajun Knight.
I'm Raven Lee.
And today we have on a homie that has not been on the show for quite some time, but we're here to rectify that. Angel's Treble Garcia with the Paranoid Radio Podcast. Brother, how the hell have you been?
Woo! What is up, everybody? I am Trebles on the Treble Show. The Paranoid Radio actually died. We had to rebrand it because I'm sick and tired of people talking about how Michelle Obama's dick is better than humanity. And I don't get bucks out of that. I like talking about what brings humanity together and what makes us great again. So I am Trebles Garcia. I want to thank the Lord for allowing me to be here today. And I want to thank every single one of you for allowing me to enter your space. Thank you so much for making me back a special guest on your show, bro. This is an amazing fucking platform. Everybody looks up to you guys. You guys killed it every single time. You guys, you're a freaking Patreon. You're all, and some of the most loyal listeners that I've ever met, including myself. So again, thank you so much.
Our cult family is where it's at.
Yeah, our cult members have they've got a whole other ethos unto themselves, and we love them dearly, all of them.
We do love our fam.
Yeah. So mad shout outs to the listeners, also and subscribers, and everybody else that is spreading the love and keeping that third eye open.
Fuck yeah, dude. This guy gets it. And you've been killing it on socials, dude. I feel like every time I open Instagram, I'm seeing the
You're the
newest
first
post.
person I see on every single social that we have.
Yeah.
Literally,
That says a lot.
You are the first person that we see almost every time we open up our socials. Like you are if it's not your show, you're talking to somebody that we also follow. Like you are just everywhere, man.
Thank you so much, man. I do try a lot. I try very, very much to stay healthy and kick some ass. So thank you so much for the praises. Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, you're doing awesome.
So
and we heard about this book of yours.
Dude, tell me about the book.
All of it.
All right. So this is, but before anything, guys, it's going to get a little trippy, and I'm going to talk about religion, but I'm also going to talk about historical facts that you could take the 5 seconds of your day to search. You could use any fucking search engine as long as you hashtag look it up and do the research your goddamn self. So, I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I can curse on your show or not, but I'm going to curse.
Brother.
All right.
Of course
So,
you can.
and I'm also going to talk about how trees are portals. I'm going to connect historical facts, scientific facts, biblical scripture, spirituality, and everything that comes all together, connects all the dots so that we can start recognizing patterns where you were told not to recognize patterns. Guys, the book is not only about tree portals, it's about seeing everything that we have been lied about at the cellular level. So yeah, basically trees are portals, and I'm not going to talk to you only about how you could travel dimensionally and stuff, but we're going to get a little creepy, and then hopefully we could get through the entire presentation. I got the first chapter ready to go. So before anything, if there's anything you guys want to ask me or anything, I'll take it over. It's up to you guys. Let me know.
I got a few questions before we get started. Actually, Raven, do you have anything?
My mind was like tree portals, and my first thought was the rings in the inside of the tree and like what they represent. And then I was thinking like, is this like a Jack situation where like we're gonna like go to a next? Then I was like, oh no, my Nightmare Before Christmas brain like popped up, and I was like,
shit.
Man, did they actually tell us in a movie?
The emo kid in you came out. Yeah.
And then also like face stuff. A lot of conversation comes from trees. Changelings putting the babies in the trees, and then also that you could go through the trees into fairy realms and stuff like that. And I was just thinking about all these different thoughts are going as he's saying
Nightmare
these.
Before Christmas, you got Jack going through every single holiday, and then you got Santa Claus using the fucking pine tree to teleport right directly into your fucking living space. All I'm saying is trees are fucking portals. You're there, man. You're there.
My brain was just like, boom, 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 boom. Let's talk about it, because I love trees. So
and
like,
how
I'm
many
here for
people
it.
have we heard say that the tree folk, aka the Sasquatch, aka the Bigfoot, they live within the trees, or they are using the trees as doorways themselves? We've heard so many people say this.
Bending light.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait to hear about this.
Let's go.
So it's very cryptic also. That's where we're going to be touching some stuff with Bigfoot. That's where the original thesis started. Guys, I have a thick accent. I'm a freaking beaner. I am the only conspiracy poppy in the conspiracy podcasting fucking realm. So if I talk like a beaner, speak like a beaner, I apologize beforehand, okay? But we're going to kick some ass. Here we go.
Let's go.
So the tree portal theory made by Trebles Garcia, myself. So I'm gonna give you 6 biblical foundation points where you could start building your idea.
Okay.
Biblical scripture hook. Here we go. In Genesis, you have the tree of Eden, trees of life, and then in Exodus, you have the use of acacia tree. We're gonna be mentioning the acacia tree a lot. The shittim wood for the tabernacle, and then Isaiah, you see people, giants getting trees cut down. In Jeremiah, you have idols made out of wood, trees from the forest being cut down. First and Second Chronicles, you have large scale use of trees, wood for temple construction and worship symbolisms, and in Ezekiel and Revelations, you have tree of life again and leaves of healing, right? So tree specimens, what is so important about trees and the specimens that are more abundantly in the world today? So question 1 is, what tree specimens show highest conductivity and dielectric responsiveness? I found out that the wood itself is an insulator, but when moist or treated, I have to be very, very specific about that. When moist or treated, species such as birch, pine, oak display stronger dielectric constants. So yes, conductivity rises with moisture, mineral content, and temperature. Today, we know carbonized wood and polymer treated birch can carry measurable current. So what do trees have? What property allows wood to act as a mirror, conduit, or amplifier of frequency energy? Let me break it down, bro.
Okay.
Wood contains cellulose fibers that are electric. They convert vibration into electrical charge like microphones do, and add a little rainwater and minerals in the cellular matrix, and the structure becomes an organic resonator. As if, like, sorry, if a sound that is loud enough or low enough, infrasound, can, in theory, then excite these properties, making the tree a temporary amplifier of vibrational energy. Question 3. Has any ancient or now existing wood species been used historically for amplifying, storing, and redirecting energy frequency phenomena? Yes. So check it out. Not formally as amplifiers, but the acacia, cedar, and the red sandalwood algum have been revered for spiritual vibration, resonance, and preservation. The red sandalwood especially was prized in musical instruments, again, and temples for its resonating frequency and tone stability, an ancient acoustic amplifier by nature. So what I'm saying is, wood has historically been used not only in archways, in thrones, but also as music instruments. What do instruments do? They create vibration, frequency that then hacks into your habits and emotional. I call it emotional warfare. So that's first little portion. If you guys have any questions, let me know.
You definitely have a lot to go off of, historically speaking, right? And we'll get to the biblical in just a moment. But like, even if you go back to ancient Egypt, a lot of the pharaoh sarcophagi were made out of gold. They're made out of stone. They're made out of lapis lazuli, yes. But there are a few cases of sarcophagi being made out of wood, which was seen as that to the Egyptians, that was worth way more than gold because they don't have a whole lot of trees growing in Egypt. So for them to have enough tree, a large enough tree to make an entire sarcophagus out of, that was expensive as fuck. And if I'm not mistaken, there's only a handful, actually, of known pharaohs that were buried in wooden sarcophagus. Now, yes, it was, ornately laden with, gold and silver and all these stuff, too. But it wasn't solid like so many other cases. When we're talking about red sandalwood, that's been used for years and years for musical instruments, as well as for decoration inside of a lot of temples, especially out in the Far East. The cedars, as a matter of fact, that were cut down from Lebanon to build the temple, which that's the connection to the Freemasons, how they have the tall cedars of Lebanon. That's because of the cedars that were used to build the temple, which is where the Freemasons get a lot of their inspiration to things from, as well as the acacia tree, which, to your point, was also brought up multiple times. So I think you have definitely a lot of historical precedents to say that trees themselves have something spiritual going on with them. Then we cut to the Nordics. Wasn't it the elm, the oak? There was like 4 trees that were like sacred trees to them. I'm trying to remember.
The great ash tree.
Ash, that was another one. Absolutely.
That binds the 9 realms together.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then
and there's a lot of tree significance in many cultures.
Yep.
I mean, Celtic, Norse, Mesopotamian, The Chinese, there's cycles within the trees, the roots, the trunk, and the branches all hold symbology as well. And there's a lot to do with the interconnectedness of trees and the spirituality and how it pertains to life as a whole. Um, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
And preservation of the life and consciousness. So you were talking about the ancient stuff. Let me bring it back to the future, to our modern era. Side tangent: is wood used in electronics today? Good question, Angel. Everybody,
Is,
get ready.
actually.
Yeah. Here we go. Wood transistor. The transistor in 2023 in Linköping University in Sweden created a balsa wood transistor capable of modulating current. Number 2, conductive wood panels in Aalto University in Finland. They created carbon fiber and graphite infused wood panels used in smart furniture today. Heat panels and sensors. Number 3, transparent wood displays. University of Maryland in China created transparent wood films that can conduct a light and hold electrical charge, replacing glass in sustainable electronics. So in conclusion, modern science confirms that wood can be modified to conduct, store, or modulate energy, bringing the ancient concept of living matter as a conduit with modern technology. Oh yeah, that was really important. So again, we're gonna go back and forth, kind of like Star Wars. We're gonna go take it back to the front. Yeah. Historic. When did ancients use wood conduit? So I had to give you guys some receipts, some historical stuff, because people are fucking lazy and they like getting fed the information. Cedar of Lebanon, used in Solomon's temple, resin rich, aromatic, resistant in decay, symbol of strength and purity. The acacia, again, dense, dielectric, insect proof, used for the Ark of the Covenant, symbol of immortality and divine preservation. Algum, the almug, the red sandalwood, imported for instruments and decor, resonant and tonal, acts of natural frequency amplifier. The gopher wood, possibly cypress, used in Noah's Ark, durable, buoyant, ancient engineering wood. The chiropos, and so forth and so forth. So what the fuck? What civilizations use these woods? So here's a short list. Israelites, Phoenicians, Egyptians, Indians, Mesopotamians, all employed these timbers for sacred architecture, shipbuilding, and ritual work. Where were they geographically? Across the Eastern Mediterranean, the Sinai, India, the Levant, spanning trade zones. They didn't only trade rich copper, quartz, and magnetic minerals, but also wood. So you know what? I hate doing this myth stuff so much, but I'm gonna have to bring it too. Are these species extinct or extant? Very important question. Cedar of Lebanon is endangered, but still extant. Red sandalwood, threatened, but still here. Acacia, widespread and thriving. Cypress variants common but altered through hybridization. What energetic or ritual properties do they carry? Here we go. This is where I start getting very scientific, guys. Stick with me. Acacia, known for immortality and divine containment. Cedar, purification and sacred longevity. And sandalwood, resonance, vibration, and communication. And I only focus on those 3 just to give you a brief example. Now, structure, here we go. 1, I gave you 6 biblical foundations showing reverence of trees and bridges between earth and spirit. Section 2, I gave you the scientific proof of moisture, piezoelectric resonance, and wood-based tech to prove that wood can transmit, store, or modulate energy. And then number 3, the cross-civilizational evidence. Ancient societies intuitively chose specific woods for ritual construction and resonance, uniting symbolism, science, and sound into the matrix. Now, this is the thesis. Here we go. If nature already allows creatures like the electric eel to generate true voltage within living tissue, then it's not impossible to imagine higher organisms evolving or learning to manipulate a similar bioelectric field. Picture this, a Bigfoot moving through the rain-soaked forest, right? The trees heavy with moisture, their trunks laced with quartz and mineral veins that turn the wood into a semi-conductive network. When the creature releases a pulse of infrasound, low, penetrating vibration, it excites these minerals through the piezoelectric effect, converting vibration into current. The wet bark, then saturated roots, channel that energy down into the Earth's magnetic field, momentarily distorting the local electromagnetic balance. In that instant, sound, mineral, water, and electricity converge, opening a resonating window, bending the light spectrum, a tree portal through which matter and consciousness can shift dimensionally, whether symbolic or literal. This thesis explains why cryptids appear, vanish, and bend light most often amid storms and soaked forest. The environment itself is their gateway. Ooh. What you guys think?
Damn. That's
So that's
I
the
like
main
how you
thesis
wrapped
then.
it all up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's
So-
I got a lot more.
Go ahead. Go ahead,
I
Jacob.
was going to say, as far as the electronic side of that goes, right? And I can speak at least semi-intelligently on this because at one time I was an electrician / instrument tech. Wood can be used as like you said, conduit, and that's not inaccurate, but
It can be.
typically electricity does produce a lot of heat. So if we are using wood for this, it's going to be at a very low level of voltage and amperage. But yes, it can be used for that purpose, 100%. So, and we're not talking about using, a tree as like a 480 volt, transducer or something like that. Like, no, we're talking about using it at very low levels, at the more or less like the frequency modulator levels. Which that's the other side of it. We already have evidence that mushrooms are being used the trees are using mushrooms as a mycelial network to speak to each other. So they are not speaking through sound waves. They are speaking through electronic waves. I think that also kind of ties into this one.
And also the mushrooms are talking. Have you seen the conductors that they're hooking up to the mushrooms that sing?
And it sounds like a fucking
I
rave.
want one so bad.
No, it doesn't sound like a rave, dude.
No, they sing. They sing to each other, and they actually sing to you as well. If you're touching it a certain way, it actually conducts different levels of singing.
Shut the
And
fuck
if you sing to it, it actually sings to you. It's actually like a speaker that you hook up to it, and you can hook it up to any of the plants.
Yeah.
And it actually is, they're singing in different levels to it.
It's
and
like a speaker the size of a deck of cards with two little wires and two little clips. You hook it up to two
think I'm
leaves
just
on the
gonna buy
plant.
one.
Yeah, I want to. I don't need to see where the fuck to buy one, but it's awesome. And so they have been doing this for a good long while, honestly. And
I will say that when you're talking about conductors, though, it can in fact conduct it. It's because of the molecules in it and the moisture itself, and that the atoms inside in the molecules are bunched together, so they can't go anywhere. So that's how it's conducting energy or electricity through it. But to your point, there's a certain amount that will burn out depending on how soaked it is. But during storms, it's a lot easier for energy and electricity to be able to move freely through this.
Right, absolutely. And we did an episode a while back about how the plants are communicating with each other. Believe it or not,
They do communicate.
Believe it or not, though, they are speaking audibly, not just electronically. They're actually letting out small little pops that we, to our human ear, can't hear. But they found that they had a microphone set up near like the tomato plants, by the pea plants, and by this plant over here. The tomato plants were speaking to each other in a language that is only intelligible to them. Then they were speaking to the pea plants in basically like a vegetable unilanguage, if you will. The trees are doing the same shit. It's all like the plant world has a lot more life going on to it than what we have believed for forever.
Yeah,
yes,
1000%. Can I take charge again, guys?
Please
go ahead.
The olive conductor theory. This is subcurrent from the tree portals, and I had to add this in there just because I think it gives it some more context. The olive tree, sacred and enduring, has always symbolized peace and divine connection. But beneath its spiritual veneer lies an intriguing material truth. Olive wood isn't naturally conductive. Its strength is in its dense, oil-rich fibers, not minerals or quartz. Yet when carbonized, so I guess you have to transform it, right? When carbonized, that same wood transforms into a porous, charge-holding material capable of storing electricity, now used in modern supercapacitors and battery tech. In ancient world, the olive was carved into the temple's inner doors, while its oil fueled internal lamps, a perfect paradox of matter and light. Symbolically, acacia held the current and olive invited it. One was the vessel and the other one was the key, completing the sacred circuitry of divine resonance. Now, the reason I say that I'm Latino is because not only I'm brown and I come from people that speak Spanish first, but so in Latin, the word for door, in Spanish, the word for door is puerta.
Yeah.
And in Latin, because Spanish comes from the Latin mother language, the word is porta. So it's the same thing, but direct translation from puerta into English, going back full, it's not door. It's actually portal with the L at the end.
Yeah.
Portal. So same thing. So the acacia contains the theory third pillar of the three portals, or tree portals. Acacia was the real deal. The wood that they used to build their tabernacle, the spot where man met God. The box wasn't just holy decor, it was a damn energy vault. A gold-wrapped power cell built from the toughest wood in the desert. Acacia don't rot, don't break, and don't bow. It's thick with resin loaded and still everywhere today. One of the most thriving woods on earth. It's the kind of tree that takes heat, dust, and time and still stands tall. That's why the ancients picked it. Acacia don't channel the energy, it contains it. It's a hood version of a capacitor, what you said, holding divine voltage without blowing a fuse. So the reason I brought that in was because if you guys remember the Ark of the Covenant, for the priests to talk to God, they had to be sinless, or else the moment they would come into God's presence in the energy in that vault, they would die. So they would tie a string to their ankle, and then they would pull them out if you would hear the body flop.
Right.
So that box, with its holy geometric design, with all the conductors, it had silver, it had gold, it had acacia. It was a battery where God's presence was charged and also held. You see what I'm talking about, right? So another great, I want to say, biblical reference to why wood is so important. So final presentation, I'm going to start going into the concrete jungle that connects directly into tree portals. The tree portals is a full circle theory uniting scripture, science, and street level truth. Acacia contains in charge, olive invites the current, and trees ignite the portal. Three woods, three frequencies, and one gateway, the tree portals. And here's a cosmic kicker. In a galaxy full of metals, gases, and dead rock, wood is one of the rarest natural materials in existence, yet on Earth, it's the key for every portal we've ever built. Ooh. Okay. Now I want to jump into some mythology. I don't know if you guys have any questions.
Couple of comments, not questions, but absolutely. As far as so the Ark of the Covenant, right? It was made out of the acacia wood. And like you're saying, that was the strongest and most durable wood of the ancient world, especially in the desert. I would be remiss if I did not bring up the fact that a lot of DMT is made from acacia bark. Yeah. So as much as we're talking about the spiritual and the ethereal on this, we're bringing up the acacia wood. I feel like the conspiracy theorist in me can't not bring up that tiny little tidbit. Also, the fact that you brought up the olive connection. So the olive tree is also one of the oldest trees that we know of in existence. They have trees in Greece that are 3,000 years old that are still producing olives to this day and have every year for those 3,000 years. And it's really crazy when you look at the connections between the long-standing life of that tree, because like these trees die every so often, but a new one pretty much regrows and takes its place. And it's like the same, it's like a almost like a mother gene, if you will. And so they one in particular that they have in Greece, they're not exactly sure. They're estimating it's somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 years old, like that very specific tree, which is fucking crazy. It's still producing olives today.
There's one tree that's 4,850 years old that's located in California in the White Mountains.
Whoa.
And it's a pine.
Really?
That's nuts. Mm-hmm. That's nuts.
Yep, it's a pine.
Very interesting. I gotta check that out.
It's in the White Mountains of California. The exact location is kept secret though, because they're feared that it's actually going to get damaged, because one of the other old trees got screwed up 2 years ago. Yeah. They went and people tried to hack it down or were messing with it and stuff. So yeah, it's actually hidden, I guess. It's the last known oldest tree. But a lot of people believe a lot of those giant mountains are trees as well.
True.
Well,
so that's a big thing.
There's a reason why, after I think it's, correct me if I'm wrong, ladies and gentlemen, please hashtag look it up. Do not take my word for it. Do the research your goddamn self. I think after a certain time, I think it's 8 p.m. or 6 p.m., if you get lost in the freaking wild, the local governments will not go out there unless they have a specific authority from the Fed, or go in there with special lights because of the preservation of the darkness. And that's what's on the fucking website, not what I'm saying. The preservation of the darkness, bro. What are you trying to preserve? Like fucking light pollution? Are you talking about you can't see stars, or you're trying to preserve the darkness so that people can see the stars or read the stars? Like, what is it that you're trying to hide? I still think that specific times, under specific moonlight, under specific weather conditions, obviously, you would have some dimensional hopping people or creatures at that. in the specific areas of the world.
Hey, maybe it's like Lord of the Rings, and a door will open up on the specific day and night.
This is exactly
With the moonlight.
like fucking Lord of the Rings. It's like it's exactly like Lord of the Rings, bro.
My nerd
it's
self can't help but nerd out. I will say though, I looked up the 10 oldest trees in the world, and I didn't know that one is in Iran.
I believe that.
And the Wales, any mountains, Brazil, California has another one. Sicily, Japan, Greece, Florida. 2 of them are located in 2 different places in California. Those are the 10 oldest trees in the world.
Those are the biggest dimension gates, time gates, I like to call them, in the world. That's where we travel back and forth to give our old selves freaking technology and or messages so that we don't commit other stuff here in the future. And then we have simulation where you have fucking voodoo. What's it called? That voodoo? What's that? What's it effect when you see things back and forth again and it repeats itself? Deja vu. There, that's why my dyslexia kicked in. Sorry. Should I take over, guys? Let me keep on kicking ass, please. So this order was shout outs to Broadcasting Seeds podcast, bro. This dude, he gave me the mythological portion of this research. He just pointed me to the right direction, so I have to pay homage. So what do traditions say, guys? What key threads, where can we get some resource for mythological resources? And I just put some together in shamanic and earth spirit traditions. Shamanic and other spiritual cultures around the world honor and use sacred trees as portals, gateways to hidden worlds, sources of wisdom, and even wish fulfillment. For example, the trees that are large, old trees vibrating at a high level spirituality are also described as interfaces between worlds. The Olmecs used to say that a lot, and I'm gonna go back there. I'm gonna go back to the Olmecs because that's what this whole thesis originated. In Celtic spirituality and related folk belief, in Celtic spirituality, sacred trees were portals between worlds. The Celts believed each tree had a spirit, a guardian of wisdom and protection. Also, the tree species Rowan, it's called Sorbus acuparia, is explicitly called the portal tree in Neo-Druid tradition as a threshold between this world and the other world. In global mythologies, like the Turkish mythological tree called Eulokine is described as a tree of life whose roots go deep into the earth, branches reach up to the sky, souls pass between realms. The Hindus' mythological tree called Akaparkrishta, sorry if I fucked that shit up, is more often access to divine abundance, but explicitly suggests a link between human world and the higher reality as in other realms. The concept of sacred grooves as liminal spaces, neither woolly human underscores trees as mediating zones. I am so sorry. My own notes are fucking me up. In paranormal and strong strange circles like ours, people report entering or sensing what they called portals in woods, energy shifts, time slowing effects, altered perception, often near trees or tree clusters, near running water, near specific mounds, under the specific moonlight, on certain dates, and we could piece all the other pieces together. Where do all these ancients have their freaking mounds? Where do they have their ancient structures? Where do the elites today do their crazy fucking homo parties? Same areas.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I was actually just watching something about this too. It's there's these crazy I want to say pine groves, because that's not exactly true, although that name comes to mind when we're talking about these crazy elites and shit like that. But around the world, there's basically these very specifically planted forests. And you'll see them in the middle of not just a pasture, but like in the middle of like some very flat prairie ground, there will be very specifically planted trees in a very specific shape. And I mean, when I say specific shape, to the people that planted it, you know, hundreds, if not thousands of years ago, it was probably a perfect circle. But now certain trees have died, certain trees have grown, so it kind of does oblong things. But come to find out, the inhabitants of this area way back when, they used these groves, even if they were, you know, man-made to them, they used it as a place of worship. They used it as a place of spiritual, basically like a church. When we think of a church, we think of brick and mortar and a building and a steeple and all these things. Or even if you're thinking of a Buddhist temple or you're thinking of a mosque or whatever the case is, you're thinking of a man-made structure. The people of old that lived in unison with the earth, they didn't see a man-made structure as a temple. They would build their own temple out of trees. Very specific species of trees, though. Absolutely.
Yo, like to what you're saying, they used to go to these spirit. They would guide themselves to the spiritual parts of the forest where they would accumulate trees to transmit, channel spiritual power. They would hold memories, contain spirits, they would act as a broadcasting entity as well. They would use the trees as antennae. They would the repeater stations if they had to, and have extra dimensional phenomena happen too. So again, are surrounded by fires, hit the right frequency, do the right dance. They call it the rain dance, if anything. They would have, all of these things have a pattern, bro, that you can start recognizing and then understand why. So all of this tree talk is not to say for me to come to you, hey guys, look, go knock on wood, because trees are fucking portals. That's not the point of this conversation. I'm gonna go into the next portion of this presentation, of this thesis, to let you guys know exactly where my headspace was at. This is for you to understand that we have cellular surrendered to our makers, to the higher elites. We have allowed them to disconnect us from our natural habits, from natural energy, from our creative power, from our manifestation power, from the almighty creator, from everything. And they control us at every single level of existence. At every single level of existence, even if you do not see it yet, which is why I'm giving you the book so that you can start pattern recognition. Liminal Trees out for $11 on Kindle, or $4. $4 on Kindle and $11 paperback for my shameless plug. Let me give you something, bro. Now, Jesus went to the Mount of what?
Olives.
For 40 nights and 40 nights? Exactly. He was hung on what wood? On olive wood.
Is that
It was
accurate?
olive wood. I did a whole episode on olive, bro. He was hung on olive wood. He was what else? There was a bunch of different connections of
big enough to make a branch large enough to make a cross out of. Holy shit!
In Protestant tradition, when the Holy Spirit starts to revive and people are doing their thing, how do you freaking start going into this next emotional consciousness dimension in your brain? By a touch of olive oil on your forehead, on your third eye. Funny shit. So I've seen it in also in religious traditions, right? So I have this thing. He died and resurrected, which means he freaking went to hell, came back with the keys of hell, and then he resurrected inside where? In a cave, right? He's a dimensional hopping gangster, bro, and used wood and stone to show it to you. Now, then I have these stupid little conspiracy theories, right? Because I'm a conspiracy theorist at heart. You have the Santa teleporting using exorcist priests into your house. You have Dibbit boxes and Orgone boxes that are made with what? Acacia wood. And what do they contain? Funny shit, huh? Paired with sacred geometry like the Ark of the Covenant, and then you have yourself a magic holiday. So yeah, now I'm gonna go into the concrete jungle, which connects directly into the energetic frequency of why they have disconnected us to the real jungle, the wood jungle. And if you guys still have some time, I would love to rock your socks.
Let's go.
Oh yeah. All righty. Any comments, guys? Any questions in the back? No, you guys? No. Okay. Good stuff.
I was just looking up really quick the Revelations. I knew Revelations talked about a tree, and I was trying to remember what it said. It was talking about the tree of life bearing 12 crops of fruit, yielding its fruit every month, and the leaves of the tree being for the healing of the nations, which I thought was really weird to have in Revelations, to be honest with you.
Yep.
But I was looking at
book.
Revelations is a weird book, but I was looking up the connections between all the different religions and trees, and it is mentioned in Judaism, Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism. It just keeps going. The amount of times trees are mentioned all over the place.
If you start looking into all of them, you'll start seeing the same exact name, wood, or nights, or holidays. They would use wood to transmit the acoustic property in wood, bro. The vibrational stuff that you can get out of wood is amazing. I didn't even know until I found this out. So guys, I call this chapter the Stone of the Beast. On that rock, I shall build my church. He told Peter, Petros. Peter means rock. They replaced the jungle with concrete. Not to build, but to contain. The ancients built temples with granite, limestone, marble, and obsidian because those stones held charge, echoed sound, and aligned with the earth's pulse. What we now call grounding. But today, we're boxed into a synthetic slabs filled with rebar, soaked in Wi-Fi, and wrapped in microwave signals to bounce around us like a mirror room in a carnival. Concrete isn't just infrastructure, it's an antenna. It reflects frequency, traps EM waves, and turns your home into a silent echo chamber. And the air, it's loaded with metallic dust from brake pads and traffic, copper, barium, and antimony. And all of them are entering through your lungs, into your bloodstream, and then into your brain. This is biometric warfare disguised as architecture. Back then, they built in divine stone, and now we walk on programmed rock. This is the Concrete Jungle Theory, Chapter 2. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Whoa. All right, so this was a little bit more buff.
No, I get it. I'm trying to think here. So, and it depends, right? There's something to be said for the electric frequencies that certain rocks can put off, like quartz, for instance, right? We talk about how the ancient pyramids in Egypt were at one point lined in quartz. Quartz is used as piezo crystals in a lot of electronic components these days. So, but not all of that. Like limestone is not the same as quartz, and that is not the same as concrete, and is not. So there's levels to that one as well. But I could definitely see what you're saying as far as how we as human beings today are living in basically insulators that is keeping us and shielding us from our natural frequencies that we are supposed to be like. And that's the thing. Like, walking around barefoot is a very natural thing. Throughout the vast majority of human history, that was a very normal thing to do. Or living in a house that was essentially built out of mud. Now, whether that mud was then packed and baked into clay and then turned into bricks or something like that, then fine, sure. But for the vast majority of human history, we weren't living in the conditions that we are now. And for the record, yes, I appreciate the modern conveniences that our homes provide for us. But we would also be remiss to say that this was the intention for, 3,000 years ago.
Oh, yeah. So, remember, the natives didn't get breakfast served at them when they woke up. They had to go get their breakfast by hunting and earning it, right? And then the natives also, what they did is they would put their back spine against a specific wood in the tree to release stress and emotional anxiety, bro. Their vertebrae, right? 33 vertebrae, their nervous system center core against the freaking wood. Because why? They were grounding their bodies so that they could start resonating with the Earth's frequency again and release emotional anxiety, what I like to call body riding demons, retarded fucking demons. And it's going to get into that point too. So it's going to move into the spiritual part instead of just talking about scientific stuff. Sure. So what electromagnetic properties does concrete have? Concrete, though often considered an insulator, it's actually one hell of a complex electromagnetic behavior. It has behavior, especially when mixed with modern additives. High dielectric constant, it stores and resists electrical energy, which can lead to signal dampening or reflection. It also holds electric charge over time, especially when moisture is present. Think train humidity or blood. Keyword blood. Then you have metal rebar. Steel mesh acts as an internal antenna. Fly ash, carbon additives, or graphene in smart concrete, which explains why concrete can act as a passive antenna. Under certain RF or EMF conditions like 5G, it becomes a signal or rebroadcaster or absorber. And as crazy as this may sound, coming from a conspiracy theorist like me, in military studies, low frequency radio waves bounce through concrete better than expected, enabling signal tracking and internal resonance in buildings. We'll visit this very fucking soon. We're gonna hit the military aspect of this too, because dog, it's a freaking weapon. Look, dude, this isn't hard to sway people to believing. This isn't meant to sway people into believing that these trees are portals and the concrete is to trap us. But I am now 100% sure that concrete isn't just a foundation. It's a programmable surface. It can dampen some waves, transmit others, and may hold resonant echoes of whatever signal or energy is pumped into the urban grid. Look, just hear me out. I'm talking to you like if I'm reading my book. What they pump into concrete is fucking disgusting. First, carbon-based nanomaterials found in smart concrete, military-grade roads, surveillance architecture. You have graphene oxide and carbon nanotubes tubes are being added for durability and sensing, but these contain carbon structures that can respond to radio signals and emit EMF when excited. They literally make concrete programmable. The result is a building that behaves like a low-level AI shell, always listening, always transmitting. And that's at a freaking civilian level. All right. Then you have magnetic additives, iron, steel, barium. Certain mixes contain magnetic, iron-rich fly ash, and even barium salts. These alter the electromagnetic permeability of concrete, letting certain frequencies pass deeper or get trapped under the amplifying side. Result, targeted areas like homes, offices, schools can then be saturated with custom RF patterns, creating behavioral baselines, agitation, fatigue, or submission. So what am I telling you? During certain times or certain rituals, like the 8th of every month, when people drop bombs, we have some blood sacrifices around the world. What do? They drop the particular message at your home, at your office, at your suite, at your studio, and then you start playing the freaking music on the radio station. You turn on your freaking TV, you put on fucking Netflix, and what are they bombing you with? The messaging. And why does it resonate with you so much? Why can't you get your eyes off of it? It's not because of Stockholm Syndrome. It's because the rock around you is programming you at a cellular level. And that's just the front portion. Any comments?
No, dude, I'm pretty much just taking in all the info. And this is straight out of your book?
Yeah, this is in chapter 2. My favorite one is chapter 2. So check this out. We have smart dust integration. So this is, people think you have, oh my God, when you see a fucking chemtrail, you think level 1 conspiracy is, oh, they have metals in it. Level 2 conspiracy would be like, what's coming out of our fucking emissions of our cars, right? And then level 3, what's in the fucking brake pads? That's the real part right here. So smart dust integration, micro nano sensors. DARPA, Lockheed Martin, and Sandia Labs have all explored nano sensor deployment into infrastructure. Smart dust equals microscopic devices that can monitor, transmit, or respond to environment or biofeedback. Embedded in concrete, these sensors can map your movements. Listen to what I'm telling you. Heat and even emotional states based on subtle biometrics. The result is urban areas become interactive behavioral maps, making it easy to manipulate mass habits, emotion zones, or trigger panic compliant waves. Oh yeah, COVID? Anybody have any fucking thoughts? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's called behavioral mapping, what they're doing, and they do it in different areas. And why do you think your house doesn't have lead-based paint anymore? Because it would block the fucking signal. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that never made sense to me when they're like, oh, it's because kids are eating paint chips. Brother, I got to tell you, I grew up in a house with old paint that would chip off the wall sometimes. It wasn't lead. It was something else. But never in my entire life, I can't even think of one time where I thought to myself, you know what I'm going to do is eat that. Or my younger brother, who at the time when I was living in this specific house, he was born into that house. So, like, we're talking when he was 1, 2, 3 years old. Never did he ever eat paint chips. So the whole conversation, oh, we quit putting lead in paint because people were eating it. That's always been bullshit. Absolute
it's because
bullshit.
They wanted to see what kind of underwear you were wearing. That's what the fucking problem is. It's not enough that they're taxing you 33% out of your check or fucking taxing you for a special cocktail of gasoline like in California. Fucking bullshit. It's because they wanted to see internally what the fuck you were up to.
Absolutely.
And then you have acoustic resonance and embedded. I'm not sure how much time we got, but I'm a rock and roll, bro.
Oh no, we going as long as you want to go, dude. Honestly, you know us. Sure. We 2 hours is the minimum at least. I mean, we good to rock.
For sure. I love it. All right. So then you have acoustic resonance embedded. Through piezoelectric feedback loops, especially with quartz-based cement, concrete can be used in acoustic resonance tests, sending ultra-low frequencies, ULFs, into spaces that affect brainwave states. Going back to liminal tree thesis, frequencies, listen to this. I brought some fucking receipts, guys. Hashtag look it up. Frequencies under 20 hertz, inaudible to the ear, at least the human ear, can cause the next series of problems. Disorientation, anxiety, docility, sleepiness, paranoia. The result? Mental fog, reduced critical thinking, easier to suggest, distract, or pacify. So Again, they've been using it, and I'm going to give you the dates, the names of the companies, and the fucking times where they have already engaged into this type of warfare at the civilian level. So same shit. Your Apple headsets are doing it right now, and that's just level 1 conspiracy theory, right? Final wrap. Concrete isn't just making you sick, it's making you predictable. This part right here is going to hit you next. But it hit you hard. By adding programmable materials like nano receivers, magnetic agents, and EM active compounds into concrete, they've created urban zones of behavioral modulation. You don't walk through a city anymore. You walk through a smart frequency web built of artificial stones. The walls remember you, the floor responds to you, and they control the signal. They control the avatar. We are the fucking avatars.
Yeah.
You would think, right, that you would no, like they've controlled your consciousness. They control what you believe is real, right? Quick side tangent. Pollution is bullshit. However, I have a reason to believe that this is not just a matter of global warming or a climate crisis. We now know and have debunked and or proven that the military operations have explored cloud seeding, right?
Yep.
Climate control and manipulation by spraying gas types hard metals that can create an atmospheric greenhouse. Smog. What metallic particles float in the concrete jungle air today, especially from brake pad dust, smog, and traffic emissions? Grab on, guys. Here we go. Hold on. Brake pads dust contain copper, Cu, major component in pads causes oxidative stress in the lungs. Antimony, toxic metallic mimics estrogen. Listen to what I'm telling you. Antimony, SB, is a toxic metalloid. It mimics estrogen and can cross the blood-brain barrier. Then you have barium, sometimes used in friction formulas. Then you have zinc, iron, tin, lead, trace elements depending on the pad type that you're buying or using on your vehicle. Then you have aluminum for vehicle body wear, magnesium and nickel. Then you have manganese and chromium. And then you have carbon nanodust from engine combustion, vanadium, cadmium, and then arsenic are all detected near highways. The danger is that these metals do not stay in your lungs. Many cross into the bloodstream and some pass into the brain. Over time, they disrupt endocrine and natural functions, interact with your electromagnetic fields, alter frequency reception in the human body. And the damage is your nervous system. Or better yet, hack your mind, body, and consciousness, exactly what we were talking about earlier.
You know, I got to say, you're on to something here with the heavy metals that we are just inhaling without even realizing it. We did an episode on one, you brought up the smart dust. We did an episode on that. I feel like it was probably a year and a half ago, honestly, but it was at one of these stages where one of these big labs was willing to openly discuss the fact that they've developed it. And the fact that they were willing to talk about it means they've had it for probably 20 years, right? Now, cut to the heavy metals conversation. We just did an episode on monatomic gold and colloidal silver. And so many people think that we need this in our bodies. And it's like, you know, I've never heard an actual health professional look at somebody's charts, mineral, all the things, and be like, you know what you need? More silver in your body. I don't think that's ever actually been a real medical opinion one time, but so many people of the, and I'm not saying this to shit on anybody, because I mean, I personally fell for it for a while. I know people who personally fell for it for a good while. As far as colloidal silver, a lot of the holistic approach people, a lot of the, we need to kick out modern medicine. We need to get back to our roots as far as like herbology shit, which for the record, I absolutely agree with.
1000%.
A lot of them started going with this whole colloidal silver thing as if it helps your body replace the minerals that it's not getting on its own. It's like, show me any kind of quantifiable data to say that silver in your body, in your bloodstream, somehow will magically make your body produce more calcium and more vitamin A. That doesn't make sense. This is not a miracle thing. And so then you had multiple people that started dying from overdoing the colloidal silver and shit. And then the monatomic gold was another one. It helps your brain function better, helps this and this. Once again, I have never heard an actual like neurosurgeon professional say this person just didn't have enough gold in their brain. That's why they got cancer.
Yeah.
Like that's not how this goes. So cut to all of these things. We hear these people taking like copper and using it in certain medicines, and like you got those copper sleeves and shit for your joints, which those might help.
Yeah.
Those might help a little bit of some I don't want to use the term resonant frequency here, but at the same time, yeah, copper on the outside of your body, I could see. Gold on the outside of your body, I could see. But nobody's telling you need to be eating powdered copper because that's going to help your digestive tract. Like, that's not how the fuck this works, you know?
Yeah, 1,000%.
I agree with you.
So, going back onto the thing, guys. All I'm trying to do is let you guys know that this is not a conspiracy theory anymore, guys. This is truth. It's original. This is happening on your day-to-day life, regardless if you believe it or not. So, I really encourage you guys not only to drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify for the Cult of Conspiracies podcast, but also hashtag look it up and do the research yourself. I'm not trying to be famous with the book. Trust me, I didn't do that book for this. I did the book because, first of all, I do this for fucking sport, bro. The podcasting community is amazing, and I do podcasting to stay sane and to be the best version of myself, not necessarily to become freaking rich. All right, and that's what makes us more impactful. So let's go back to the thesis. Science alchemy research explains the following. The same foundation that modern homes have it made in concrete and rebar, which can potentially be an electromagnetic weapon. Check this out. Allow me to blow your freaking mind.
All right.
Concrete and electromagnetic. So while dry concrete is an insulator, it becomes an electromagnetic active. Sorry, let me restart all over. While dry concrete is an insulator, it becomes electromagnetically active when moist or mineral enriched, especially when carbon-based fly ash or metallic additives. Add rebar, steel reinforcement, right? And you can now have an antenna grid embedded in homes, buildings, and streets. So there's a study in IEEE transactions on electromagnetic compatibility in 2006 showed that the concrete walls can absorb, reflect, and even radiate EMF signals, especially when reinforced with steel. Number 2, rebar grids as EMF conductors. Rebar acts like a Faraday cages, but irregular, not shielding, but bouncing and amplifying certain frequencies within structures. Microwaves, Wi-Fi, and 5G reflect inside these concrete bunkers, causing what physics call EM wave reverberation, bouncing signals that can echo through the human body. Military bunkers use this principle for communication control, but it's also present in your apartment. In fact, I brought some references for you fuckers. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, EMI, shielding of military structures in 1999 outlines how rebar plus concrete interaction can affect radio propagation in bunkers in urban war zones, health and brainwave disruptions. So studies show that EMF frequencies from Wi-Fi alone and smart grids like the concrete jungle they have disruptions on alpha brainwaves linked to calmlessness and focus, increased beta gamma activity, stress and hypermobility, changes in melatonin production, sleep cycles, and cognitive clarity. Wait, there's more. Quick shout out break for everybody. Oh, sorry, because that's a presentation of my show. Sorry. Those are the moments where I was like, oh, I got to give a fucking shout out. All right, so check it. In 2013, Dr. Martin Paul from Washington State University, extensive work on EMFs and high voltage gated calcium channels, the VGCCs. EMF causes cells to flood within calcium triggering neural inflammation, cardiovascular issues, brain fog, and anxiety. Concrete walls and foundations do not stop these signals. In fact, they reflect them, keeping them inside around you longer. Go and Google that shit for your damn self. Wi-Fi signal interfere with concrete connection. Concrete, especially with metal additives and moisture, alters how EM waves move. Reflection, bouncing signals back and forth in the environment you're living. Refraction, changing wave direction, and attenuation signals energy reduction, but still radiating. I found that the National Institute of Standards of Technology, NIST, reported that radio propagation into buildings at 912 or 1920 megahertz proves that concrete absorbs and reflects Wi-Fi, but doesn't block it. Instead, it creates internal reflections leading to chaotic signal behavior inside homes. Talk about being controlled, bro, through frequencies. So inside your house, everything that you have surrounded yourself with is working against you, yet it makes your life easier. Or it makes being a slave entertaining.
I think both could be true at the same time, to be honest with you. And for anybody who's curious or questions what you just said, go inside of a metal building with your phone and watch how quickly you lose service, right? Or inside of a office building. So I used to work in the plants, right? I used to work in industry, the refineries and shit. And inside of these buildings that were explosion proof, your phone would lose signal. The only way you would have anything is if there was a Wi-Fi router inside of that bunker, basically. And that was the only way you had any kind of signal. So yeah, it blocks certain things, but it also houses it and maintains it inside of it, like you're saying. And I think there's a lot of truth to what you're saying.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give you a quick biblical summary. Why does the Bible keep pointing to stone to the rock of salvation and cornerstone of the foundation of the temple? Because stone holds permanence, bro. Stone holds frequency. God's built on divine rock. And what does Satan always do? He imitates, he perverts. So instead of sacred granite and limestone tuned into heaven's pulse, we get poured concrete, artificial stone, and rebar laced, frequency warped. The foundation is still a rock, just not God's rock. That's how the concept works. Familiar structure, inverted function. Some of us used to snort rock, and that's me. So I'm about a year and 6 months sober from fucking meth. That's why I'm a little jittery from time to time.
Hell yeah.
So now let's hit some mythologies, Stone. So I'm glad that Raven's back. So she likes the mythologic stuff. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that fucking word.
I do, and I also like EMF stuff and radio waves
and she loves rocks
too.
She loves,
and I love rocks too. I have
That's
a
fucking
bunch
dope.
of them behind me. So
you missed the first portion. We're talking about the dust and all the smart dust inside the brake pads and how it actually fucks up your nervous system, your brain, and even your eyelids and everything. It's cellular. I'm telling you, bro. It's fucking from the inside out. They're destroying you.
There is actually so many actually published articles about EMF, and like I've read bunches and bunches of them, and they can actually break down all different aspects of it as well. And because it's not just the Wi-Fi inside of your house, you have to think that public transportation has it a bunch. It's actually all over the place. So you have it in all the cell towers is emitting it. You have it in pretty much every office. You have it in almost every building that you go into. It's literally around us 24/7. And they do say that low level radiation is acceptable for our body. But the problem is the amount of radiation that we're being exposed to on a daily basis, because it's everywhere, it is not low levels, and it's actually changing our cellular makeup, and it's like making the cells actually vibrate in a weird way and causing a lot of harm. And a lot of people argue that the 5G towers and stuff are actually not an issue, but if you look at the correlation between the cell towers increasing each like couple decades, you can actually see the viruses that are also ramping up and being released around those times as well.
And the downs are up. The downs are up. All the down,
and there's a lot of
syndrome.
There's a lot of interesting things that actually play into it, because it's the spectrums of the RF frequency hertz as well. Because if you look at the sound waves and how hertz actually interact with your cellular makeup, and people use sound wave energy all the time to heal yourself. The problem is all of this, the RF is actually releasing a frequency level that is not conducive to our cellular makeup. And so there's I've read a lot of information on this in particular topipic.
We were talking right before you left, Jacob and I hit the point where behavioral mapping. So now they're using all of this not only to keep us sick, right, and keep us indoctrinated or whatever, enslaved, but also they could check out what set of news, what piece of information triggers you and how are you going to behave. So instead of them not only knowing your life and how much taxes they're going to take for the rest of the year, they also see how predictable you are at a fucking at the dumbest level. At the most, you could be at your house reading an article and then they know exactly how you're going to behave emotionally. And then you have the different fucking colored lights. Now you have red light therapy, which is great for your skin. It's said to cure cancer. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
Right. Blue light therapy, but like blue light, What does blue light do? It keeps you up at night, right? It puts your serotonin levels are freaking crazy. It puts you on a fight or flight. You're stressed as fuck. I think that blue light makes you gay. If red light gives you fucking good light, right? And if the sunlight gives you vitamin D, then you're getting vitamin D with fucking computers. I'm sorry to say that's how it is.
God.
But you have all these fucking things that are attacking you on a daily basis at a fucking regular thing. Water bottles, your toothbrush, your toothpaste, everything that you consume and touch is something to fucking destroy you or control you.
Well, and then also Epstein did bunches of it. So he was also not only obsessed with genetic stuff, but also he has a bunch of people that are hooked up to all different types of sound manipulation. He had a lot of conductors and like composers and stuff that he talked to. He had violinists. He had all sorts of people that did a whole bunch of stuff. And then like the top leading people that use sound to manipulate brainwaves and doing different types of experiments with that were also in his pocket, and they also are in all the emails as well. And you can actually follow the email trail when it comes to composing music, when it comes to radio waves and all of these things. They actually all interconnect. So they weaponize music as well on another level, because it's not just about using everything for eugenics. It's also being able to use sound as well. And that was a huge piece of him that everyone's kind of overlooking. And so when we're talking about doing your own research, it does take a little bit to find it, but it is in the actual information. This is a part of it as well.
I have this conspiracy theory cooking in my brain for a while that the ultimate essence of time is light. That's the only way that you can measure time and stance, like where you past, present, and future. And then the ultimate conversation, the ultimate language is not telepathy, is what you just said, sound. Yeah. Because your emotions are triggered by sound, and then everything else, habits, the way you feed yourself, the way you feed your children, everything that's natural, then automatically becomes controllable, and through sound. So sound is very important.
I also think that you're on something with the radiation conversation as well. So like they say that low level radiation is acceptable for us to experience daily. For the vast majority of human history, that wasn't a fucking sentence that they would actually say out loud.
Wow, people forgot about that, huh?
Whether they knew that radiation was a thing or not, beside the point. It's like, have y'all ever looked at what happens when you suffer from radiation poisoning, how you die?
Yes.
It is terrifying. Essentially...
It's horrifying, actually.
Think of a printer that is running out of toner, and you print like 1 million pieces of paper off of this thing, and like the first couple are fine. By copy 300, shit's kind of looking a little wonky. What the fuck does that look like by copy 9,990? All the things, right? So
wow.
Cut to radiation poisoning essentially lets your body, or it forces your body to quit reproducing cells. So you know that like you're not the same human being you were 7 years ago. On a cellular level, every cell of your body has died and been replaced in a 7-year span, right? Now, cut to, with radiation poisoning, your body is no longer reproducing cells for itself. It's not like a mutated or slightly altered version. It forgets how the fuck to regenerate itself. Now, different levels to that. If it's a low-level radiation poisoning, you might have a couple of years. Some of these cases that we have of these people that were working on like nuclear reactors and shit that got blasted by mass amounts of radiation. Really, it's like, you got 9 horrible, painful days where your organs forget how to function. Your blood forgets how to blood. It's ridiculous.
It's really bad.
Just to be a little retarded here, bro, you know how aliens can't reproduce? Yes. Because they always steal your body and they always do some sexual shit to you. Why? To reproduce and grab your seed and continue the lineage. Why? Because they've been exposed too much to fucking nuclear shit, and their body forgets or evolves on how not to reproduce. And reproducing is extremely important for all fucking walks of life.
Very possibly.
That's fair. But I did want to... I did have this article that's I just want to read this really quick about RF fields. Okay. So what it actually does is it does not ionize cell genome or damage the cells and the tissue in a direct way, but the research indicates that they affect living organisms via thermal effects, tissue heating, and non-thermal effects such as vibration and rotation of molecules. So, and it also about the Permeability. That word is always a rough one.
I'm telling you, bro, I got fucking, my mouth got stuck like 8 times so disrespectfully, if anything. It's fucking retarded. Guys,
Mine does the same thing.
No, but it's just crazy to me. Like, we're carrying around cell phones that are for sure putting out very low levels of radiation every single day. Our grandparents didn't have that. Right. The cell phones only came about in the second half of their lifespan. Real shit. So whatever kind of quote unquote effects they would have seen from that low level radiation being around it every single day, who's to say? We are going to be the first generation that had cell phones from a very early level of our childhood. And I don't mean like at 9 years old I didn't have a cell phone. I understand that. But
14.
A lot of us, I was 14 when I had my first cell phone because I was doing shit. My parents got me one so they could be in contact with me, whatever, right? I had after school programs and shit. But my point is, at a very critical moment of our developmental stage of humans, right? We had cell phones in our pockets. Our children had cell phones around them at all times. So what does that low-level radiation, quote unquote low level, because who's to really say, what does that look like 50 years after the fact? What kind of weird organ issues are we going to have? What kind of weird arthritis issues that we've never had throughout the course of human history? What kind of brain issues, testicular cancer, whatever, ovarian cancer, who knows? What are we going to realistically have that no human beings have had since the beginning of time that we are going to have en masse because of this?
Discernment.
Well, there's going to be that too. Yeah. Absolutely.
We're going to go into some mythological stuff here with stone. I'm going to give you six frequency coded legends. The Oracle of Delphi in Greece, Pythian prophecies and limestone and vapors, right? The Temple of Apollo was built in limestone fissures by Pythia Oracle. Would inhale gases, now believed to be ethylene, and enter trance states. The limestone wasn't just geography, it was a threshold. The ancients believed that the rock plus gas plus mineral combination opened portals to prophecy. Remember the movie 300 where Leonidas needed to climb up the freaking thing and talk to the oracle to see if they could go to war or he would win or lose? Oh, that's the same thing. It was a virgin that was induced on top of a rock with specific freaking perverts. All right, then you have Mount Sinai, right? God's voice on the rock. When God descends, it's onto a mountain of granite. Fire, thunder, and lightning envelop it. Granite contains quartz and feldspar, material now used in electronic oscillators. The Israelites believed Sinai spoke and shook under divine presence. Granite plus vibration, divine interference. Number 3, the Kaaba. The Kaaba, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. The Islamic tradition, black stone of Mecca, said to be a stone from the paradise. The black stone is believed to absorb sin and channel divine resonance. Myth holds that it was once a radiant and white and turned black from human sin. Geologists suggest it's a meteorite, highly magnetic and potentially iron-rich. Stone as divine frequency filter. Number 4, pyramids of Giza, right? The Egyptian myth, tuning forks of the gods. Ancient Egyptians called the pyramids capstones. The Benben stones, sacred material believed to attract energy from the heavens. That was like the top piece that you would put on top of the pyramid. Obelisks carved from rose granite and high quartz content, why they believe that they would sing to the sun. Granite plus solar resonance, divine message channel. So number 5, stone circles in Druid lore, Celtic myth, echo chambers of the gods, Stonehenge, Callanish, and other megaliths were built with magnetic responsiveness bluestones and sandstones. So then you have number 6, obsidian mirrors. This is very important because, guys, after this part of the stone, I think we still have some time. We're going to talk a little bit about the Olmec theory that I brought. I'm the only motherfucker talking about this shit, and it's extremely important. So again, number 6, obsidian mirrors. The Aztecs, the Olmecs, the Maya smoke portals and divination. Obsidian was used to create mirrors and blades for both sacrifice and seeing. Priests would gaze into the obsidian portals to contact gods or see into other realms. Obsidian is volcanic glass, naturally electrically resistive, but hyper reactive to light and pressure. All right. Yep. And also, I also gathered some other geological facts. These 6 stones are proven to have high energy properties. Granite, found in the pyramids of Giza, Solomon's Temple, and Machu Picchu. Then you have limestone, found in the pyramids of Giza, Mayan temples, composition of calcium and carbonate shells and fossils. Then you have number 3, basalt, not bath salt, basalt, found in Göbekli Tepe, Olmec altars, Eastern Island. Then you have marble, found in Parthian, Roman basilics in the Vatican, composed mostly of calcite and properties, calcite properties, good for as conductor of thermal and vibrational energy. Number 5, obsidian, found in Mesoamerica, ceremonial knives, scrying mirrors, is a volcanic glass rich with silica properties. And number 6, quartzite, crystal quartz, found in Nubian temples, Hindu shrines, and so forth and so forth. So let me lock in the summary real quick. From granite thunder to Sinai, the mirror obsidian portals in Mesoamerica to limestone sound chambers in Egypt, stone has always been frequency's first altar. And the ancients didn't just stack it, they tuned it. They built with stone that stored electrical stress, channeled sound, harmonized the body and the earth's pulse, reflected and absorbed divine radiance, served as a dimensional membrane. Yeah. Modern man pours concrete, and the ancients invoked resonance. And I have the next portion is a weaponized human frequency. This is very important. This is stuff that you could research. And if you guys do you have any more comments? I'm down to keep going.
Got a couple, but Raven, do you got one?
I mean, there's a lot of information when it comes to stones and what they do. I mean, a lot of people believe that. I mean, a lot of people actually use crystals and types of stones for different properties of healing. Also putting stones, different types of rocks in like your birth space, for example, or wearing them in particular. A lot of people wear different types of stones to help conduct, or hopefully invoke these types of, energy that they want to be drawn to them. I think there's a lot of interesting structures around the world that are created specifically out of certain stones that all hold different types of frequency, and stones do all different types, depending on how they're actually created, do all different types of things. There's a lot of history and information when it comes to the stone buildings around the world. Obviously, stone was going to be primarily the thing that they used, but specifically the types of stones in sacrificial chambers and things like that. There's certain slabs that are created that were actually, they had to bring the stones to those chambers to be able to use that specific type. So stones or rocks and stuff are really cool.
Agreed. And there's also quite a bit of historical precedence as far as leaders of the past using some sort of a rock or a meteorite or something. Like you brought up the Kaaba, and they say that it was a meteorite or something like that. So just off the top, the first Roman tranny Caesar or emperor, however you want to call it, Elagabalus, who actually created because he was a dude who dressed like a girl, but he was a dude. He worshipped this rock that he said was a meteor, and he actually created his own religion around this. He had it brought into the main chamber. His rule was very tumultuous, but I mean, as you would expect. And then there's so many cases of swords and daggers being constructed from materials from meteorites, which I understand, like a meteorite falling, yeah, it's going to be iron, it's going to be nickel, and like you could use these base elements to make swords and things, but you would be crazy to say that there's nothing special about this, right? And I mean, I understand, like for the ancients, you would present this sword. Famously, King Tut, he has a dagger that was found in his burial chamber that was made of meteorite. And there was another one in China. I can't pronounce the name of the blade. It starts something with an R. It's like this legendary sword. But they have tested it, and they know that this is iron, but it does not come from Earth, and they can prove this. And so it's like, you got this rock that comes from the sky, and you tell the pharaoh, you tell the king, the emperor, whatever, our finest swordsmith has created you this blade from a star. There's no way that this doesn't have some sort of spiritual significance, even though at a chemical level, it might just be iron. It might just be nickel. Fine. Get the fuck out of here, dude. You know damn good and well there's a lot more going on there.
1,000%. And where there's a lot more going on is how they've weaponized our frequencies in our own bodies without us even without it being consensual.
Right.
Number 1, LRAD, LRAD, long range acoustic device. The LRAD Corporation, the domain audible acoustic frequency, a directional high disabled sound beam designed to induce pain, disorientation, and forced movement, used for crowd control, maritime defense, and urban compliance. Number 2, active denial system, the ADS, 95 gigahertz. United States Department of Defense, Department of War now, electromagnetic millimeter wave operates at a 95 gigahertz, rapidly heating the skin's surface to trigger an involuntary pain response without injury. Designed for area denial in dense environments, pattern EM frequency, then pain to reflex, and then immediate retreat. Crowd control, right?
Yep.
Number 3, the Medusa. Fray effect, microwave auditory weapon. The United States Navy created it. Pulsed electromagnetic microwaves used to modulate microwaves to induce sound perception inside the skull, clicks, booms, pressure without external audio. So they fuck with your brain inside your skull, bro, using this direct energy weapon. Number 4, EEG-based brainwave monitoring. DARPA programs. DARPA created it, and it was called, it fucks with your alpha, beta, theta, brainwaves. Military EEG research maps stress, intent, fatigue, aggression, and decision latency, aiming to detect pre-action neural signatures before movement occurs. So before you even make a move, again, they get to program it, right? Or at least get to know what's predicted, what are you gonna do next. Number 5, transcranial magnetic electrical simulator, TMS, TES, NATO used it. It's a non-invasive EM field used to stimulate or suppress brain regions, altering focus, fear response, impulse control, and decision speed. So it's very neurological what they're doing with the acoustic stuff, right? It's Absolutely. A freaking weapon, and they mimic every single frequency that we can hear to make us behave a certain pattern. Think about the dog whistle, right? You Sure. whistle, and the freaking dog, same thing for us.
Absolutely. And I mean, the LRAD system, I remember watching that on that show Future Weapons back in the early 2000s on Discovery, right? And that was the shit. I thought it was so cool. You could hit a crowd with sound that they can't hear and make them all feel like they're getting sunburn. And so they disperse. Cut to last year, it was in Serbia, I believe, and they used it on the crowd. And you could watch as a drone flies over the crowd and they fucking disperse. So we know for sure they're already using that. And then, you hear, I honestly can't tell you one way or another. I've heard so many reports about what went on in in Venezuela. If Maduro his troops, were they hit with sound wave energy, or were they just, scared and they just hit out and then claimed later on that it was? I couldn't tell you one way or another. If they did, cool, at least they're alive. Instead of getting a suppressed 300 blackout to the dome, they got hit with some sound wave and they kind of ducked and hid for a bit. I think that's a more humane alternative, personally. But yes, we are absolutely being hit with sound waves at all times that we can't feel. And cut to, again, we're talking about how the humans of old never had this problem. And I don't know if there's any actual trackable data on this, but before the invention of the radio, and I don't mean radio waves that are being used specifically for weaponization. I mean like your AM and FM radio or even ham radio signals. In the early 1800s, we didn't have that. Human beings had no idea what it felt like to be hit with radio waves. Cut to today, we don't know what it's like to not be hit with radio waves because they're flying around us at all times. And if you question if I'm telling the truth or not, go turn on your car to an FM station, and if you can hear music, that proves my point. Now, I don't know if there's any trackable data to say that being bombarded by these radio signals constantly is or is not detrimental to our health. All I'm saying is humans were not designed for that.
I mean, that thing that I just read was about RF radio. Like, that's frequencies. So that's radio frequencies that are being projected everywhere. And it is in fact changing our cellular makeup, how we interact, how our cells interact within our body. And the LRAD was actually created because of a bombing in early 2000s Yemen. That was the first known time of when it was quote unquote used originally.
Shit.
Yeah. So it does two different things. The LRAD isn't just about sound waves. It's both doing it, but it's a high powered wave that can communicate over a vast long distance, or it can actually control the crowds. And then that's literally how it actually talks about it. And there is belief that it's been used on the American people in two different times.
Oh, 1000%.
In 2014 in a Black Lives Matter protests in New York and in 2017 in a women's march as well. Both times people had experienced intense amount of pain that they realized was coming from sound. And both times people have actually come out and said that this was used by, the police and stuff to disperse the crowds, but nothing has been actually confirmed yes or no. So they use it. They just don't want to talk about it. Because it's technically unethical because the amount of pain in which it induces in people. And each person is different too.
Yeah.
So,
sound waves.
You have to remember over water is sound waves go faster and further over water. So depending on how hydrated you are and your cells is depending on how intense it can be. Also, it can honestly completely damage a woman that's pregnant because the sac around the baby is all water and it's conductive. And so it can completely harm. That's why you don't go to a shooting range while you're pregnant, is because the sound is so intense. It can actually damage the baby's hearing inside of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
And sound being used in warfare, there's a lot of precedence for this, blowing the war trumpets, if you will, or the Aztec death whistles, blowing those to scare the shit out of the enemy. That's fine. That's more psychological. We're talking at a cellular level, how this is being used today, which, again...
Yeah, it's extremely painful for people. Like, extremely. Like, that's the one thing that everyone says is that when it happens, it causes extreme panic, and you instantly become panicked, and then you have extreme amount of pain. A lot of people drop to the ground and can't actually do anything. Oh, and the Women's March was in 2017 in Washington, D.C.
There you go.
And so
now I wish that our boy Matt Rife would get back to making the real Rife technologies, because his sound frequency healing machines were using the sound to heal people, and I use it and I love it. My parents use theirs; they love it too. But they had some issues with the business. One of his office employees were robbing him blind, as it were, so he had to shut the company down until he can get these things fixed. But again, there is a lot of precedence, and if anybody's curious what I'm talking about, look up a Rife machine. R-I-F-E, Rife. Look up what a Rife machine is. Look at Royal Raymond Rife, the one who developed it, and look at how sound can absolutely heal your body. But understand that is a double-edged sword. The same sound that could be used to heal your body, if it's tuned to a different frequency, can absolutely be used to distort your body. Absolutely.
1,000%. Yo, that was fucking dope. Can I take it over again?
Please do.
Let's fucking go. Guys, I don't want to be rude, but we have about 20 minutes, and I'm not going to do the entire chapter. I'm going to give you high points, because if I do the entire chapter, you guys are not going to want to go buy the fucking book. So go buy the fucking book to read the last chapter.
Absolutely.
Check this out, guys. So the Olmec theory is a theory that I put together when I started reading about the Olmecs. And the Olmecs, bro, so in the Yucatan Peninsula has some of the more deepest and unexplored cave system in the world. A place what the locals call that if you go inside without spirit permission or a guide, you get this curse called malvientos. Malvientos in Spanish, direct translation into English means terrible winds, which means you go in there, you come out differently, possessed even. You come out colorblind, for example. You come out with depression. You come out with schizophrenia and other different altered states of mind.
Bro, to be honest, when you said terrible winds, and I'm thinking about like that section of the world, how like Montezuma's revenge is a thing in Mexico, I'm thinking like, bro, terrible winds, you telling me I'm gonna come out there and I'll be farting all over myself? Like, what are we talking about here? But no, it makes more sense. Demonic possessions.
Wait, if you're eating all those beans, what do you expect? I'm just saying.
It'd be like that, dog.
So you have this thing called malvientos, and the Olmecs, bro, had such an amazing way to have stone have their memory. What they essentially did was put all their consciousness not only in writing form on stone, but they left it as a marker, as a signal. What they were trying to do was put their consciousness into the vibrating, pulsating organic algorithm of the earth using liquid crystal technology. And hashtag look it up. The first university to ever practice or even mass develop liquid crystal technology is Kent State, Ohio. During the finding of Kent State, Ohio, and that technology being produced or at least found and researched on, we have the Kent State, Ohio massacre. Hashtag look it up. That was also very tragic. But the point is that they were using liquid obsidian glass to not only see into the future, talk to their gods, but also ascend. So what they were trying to do is avoid all the issues of humanity and even judgment at that, to become the next version of us, to evolve. Every single technological advancement and every single billionaire in the world today is not only obsessed with freaking ascending or putting your consciousness into the next level, but living forever. And what's the other one? DNA hacking.
Yep.
So it's another important portion of the book where I'm talking about how the Olmecs were obsessed with DNA hacking. If you guys hashtag look it up, you'll find that they were hacking, they were DNA converting animals into humans, gene splicing the Batman, the original Batman in the caves, and then the original Jaguar man, the war Jaguar. So you have like the werewolf, and then you have Dracula with like a bat. You have all these same little patterns of ancient gene splicing from the beginning of these freaking cultures and civilizations. You have them practicing DNA hacking because they would bring on body writing spirits called possession to tell them exactly how to do it, so that they could continue worshiping and or transcend their consciousness into another human body, half human body that would never be destroyed, that you could essentially live forever. What does fucking metaverse tell you? That you're able to put your consciousness into another realm where you're going to live forever. Mind you, Mario Brothers is another realm. You could tap into that digital realm and exist inside of it. Why? Because we've all played it, right? Fucking Super Smash Brothers or Mario Party, for example. It's not a realm that we could physically be in it, but you could electrically be in it because it really exists. Same thing with Metaverse and same thing with all these other dimensions. Now you have another example. They were using another example of a person that did this dimensional hopping, Jesus Christ. And how did he do it? He shed his blood. So I'm gonna give you this. They were using and opening these gates using trees and using the memory of the obsidian glass, which is stone, by the way, and opening up full circle with the keyword that I said in the beginning, fucking blood. They were using their biometrics to open up resonating and bending light windows to dimension hop through time and space, bro. And then that's how they ascended, which is why you can't find their fucking bodies anywhere, because they ascended and they're from a physical realm, 3D, to the 4D or 5D, whatever you want to call it. And this is how they would transmit their information through electromagnetic signals.
You're talking about the Olmecs, like the entire tribe vanished, and no one really knows exactly what happened to them. You are saying that you believe that you have discovered that the entire tribe was able to basically jump dimensions?
Dimension hopping, 1000%, using their biometrics. And we've seen this perverted throughout all of history. And then we see it again in the Bible with Jesus. How did he open the fucking Olmec? He was hung on an olive wood, right? Bleeding, and then he dies and he resurrects where? Inside a fucking cave. Stone. Again, it just connects all of the things. The patterns are there, bro. I'm not saying he is a dimension hopping and gangster. I'm just saying the patterns are there. Stone, wood, biometrics, rituals, energetic, the numbers of the days, specific nights on a mound. You see what I'm saying? So forth and so forth.
I'm with you.
Yeah. So
I've never heard this theory before, although there's been a lot of people, and me and Jonathan even went back and forth about this. There are some that would say the Olmecs, there's no sign that they got conquered. There's no sign that they were attacked by neighboring tribes and then enslaved or anything like that. Although we're talking about pre-written history of the Yucatan Peninsula. So, I mean, who's to say one way or another? But even from a genetic marker, you could look at the tribes that were surrounding the Olmecs. There's no weird influx of like some Olmec DNA making their way in. All of them are pretty, substantially them. So we've heard the theory of possibly it was a giant plague that took them out. Well, that area of the world didn't experience plagues until white dudes showed up, right? Maybe there was a mass fire, except none of their settlements show any signs of charring or some sort of a mass, natural disaster taking them out or something like this. So that's why it's one of the great mysteries. Some have suggested that they were able to some aliens came down and took the whole tribe up. Some have said that they opened a portal. Some have said that, they just kind of made themselves extinct, or they went into some sort of a suicide cult. But even that doesn't make sense because the bodies were never found.
Self-delete.
But no, we can say suicide here. We're not on YouTube. Fuck that. But that's my point. It's like there's no one answer that is more right or wrong than the Olmecs. There's some scholars that have proposed certain things, but nothing is really set in stone. But no, I think you might be onto something here. Maybe.
I think they infected a simulation outside of time. I think, and even if people say like, "Oh, what do you mean the organic algorithm of the Earth?" Well, think about it like this. All right, in different areas and different times of the year, then you would grow different crops, right? That's considered an algorithm. Why? Because that's what you're being fed, and you feed back onto the Earth. Right, you feed the earth, you turn the earth, you put the water, you put the seed, you're feeding the earth, so then the earth gives back, and so forth. It's a cycle, right? And different times of the year in different areas, which is why different animals flock and move areas, and that they are following the organic algorithm of the earth. That's all it is. And you could call it different fucking names, but at the end of the day, it's survivability. So how would they survive? They found that they can use the magnetic pulsating energy of the earth and mimic the energy, so they can transcend, even if it's not in a physical state. It could be in a consciousness state, right? Opening that third eye. So using that idea is when I saw, like, wait, that means that the fucking trees will have to be portals. What the crap? I go on to freaking Nightmare Before Christmas, and I see that Jack Skellington is opening. You have the Easter portal, you have the Thanksgiving, you have the Christmas, you have the... I'm like, whoa, wait. They're telling me what it is. Every single holiday date on a specific down moonlight, on a specific ritual, which is everything that we do, because even gestures are fucking ritual. Knocking 3 times at the fucking door is technically a ritual if you want to consider it. All it comes down to intent on what you really want to do behind that ritual and gesture. So then you're telling me that the movie's entertainingly telling me that trees are portals? Holy crap. And then I started looking about in SAP, you start talking about DNA hacking and how we're obsessed with DNA hacking. And the Olmecs used all these myths on fucking gene splicing. The Aztec warriors wear this fucking eagle head thing on their fucking shit as warriors, and the jaguar masks. Why? Because they want to bring in that spirit of warrior, right, into their shit before they go and do what? Commit murder, rape, and then bring more ritual offerings to their gods. These guys were not asking the gods for rain. They were asking the gods, or at least these body-riding retarded demonic spirits, to let them give more technological advancements, or at least knowing to how to penetrate the electromagnetic field of the earth. This is why their calendar was so precise, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
I think it depends on the ritual, though. Like, for instance, there was a rain ritual. They would do sacrifices to the rain god. However, those were never from like the prisoners of war. They would sacrifice their own blood. There's examples of them taking like thorns and piercing their tongue and passing the thorns back and forth in their tongue and like spitting that blood onto a fire, and that was their offering. Or, as a matter of fact, to the rain god, everybody looks at the Canaanites who were sacrificing their babies to Molech. Yo, that's nothing as compared to what the Aztecs did to the rain god. They would sacrifice their own babies to the rain god, and the more the baby screamed, the happier the rain god was. That was like all documented in their shit. But to your point about wearing the pelts of certain animals to imbue that, it wasn't just the natives, Native Americans, I should say, or the Native Central Americans. Hell, even the Vikings, right? You had the Berserkers.
Wow.
And you had the Yams Vikings that would wear wolf and bear pelts to do very similar things. You had similar stories in China. You had similar stories throughout the Polynesian tribes. They would wear certain pelts and certain feathers to signify certain things. So I think there's something to the hell. Even Roman soldiers, there was a certain classification of them that would wear jaguar pelts. And that was like to say that they had served time in Africanus or whatever the case, right? And so there's a lot of precedence as far as imbuing the spirit or the essence of that animal into your warrior prowess in some sort of fashion. And I mean, there's been a lot of conversation to say that warfare in and of itself is one massive ritual, is one mass sacrifice. And there's a lot of warrior cultures who have also done a lot of sacrificing to their gods, or have even said, this battle will be a sacrifice to the god of war Mars, or to, whatever the case, Ares, or, different tribes doing different things. But there is definitely, there's the yarn on the corkboard to connect all of these for sure.
There is in the final chapter of the book to that point. I'm not gonna tell you right now what the whole thing says, but you're gonna find key points on where I'm talking about why they used war for spiritual things, and then they found the special device that they found that talks about a silent birth prophecy, where it talks about that they have been able to transcribe, where it talks about a soulless generation rising from without breath. A time of when ancient intelligence returns to technology, not temples. So technically, we used to put our information into scrolls, and now we get it from scrolling. Just put it to like that, just simple, basic stuff like that, right? And then how these devices become part of our bodies. What devices were they probably talking about? They were prophesizing on the fucking internet and the cell phone. And even there it is. So you're gonna find that stuff in the book, which also connects to like different artifacts that they found, a story of a real geologist that was there, and the 1940s crash, the UFO. So they have a Roswell in Mexico and Belize that was technically their Roswell, right? And they hid different things that they found, more cave interactions. You'll find other stories about Malvientos and how people saw elves, and they see other creatures that come out of the caves during different nights and full moons and stuff. And again, it all connects back to the lore, because the lore in the local level is very important. You can't have that and not connect it to the scientific stuff that these geologists have found, right? And the books that they've written, and even their own slogans that they had in the 1940s. All of that is very informational. So you're going to be able to find that on the last portion of the chapter, including the rest of the liquid crystal glass technology, Kent State, Ohio, and the connection of modern era and how we're using it, or they're using it against us today.
I think they absolutely are.
Yeah, 1,000%, man.
Bro, and this is pretty much you ran through your book here, and I'm sure you left out a whole lot. This is kind of the key notes and all the things, but I have so many questions. Before I ask. Ray,
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that, bro.
I was just looking up, honestly, the liquid crystal technology. I was like, what is this? And I need to know everything. And so now I just found a whole science notes.org, and I was like, okay, well, now I have a new rabbit hole that I'm going to go down. Great, thank you.
Which crystal is also very incredible as far as the amount of storage that you're able to hold. So we talked about this too, these crystal skulls, right? Everybody's seen like Crystal Skull vodka, Dan Aykroyd's company, and all these things. There's these stories. That's not even
what I thought about. I thought about Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
Well, yes, I thought so too. But apparently the Crystal Skulls have precedence in history. Allegedly, there was like 7 crystal skulls found all over the world, and these tribes had no contact with each other. So how were they able to make all this? And we did an episode on that. Come to find out, shocker, most of them were made with modern tools, and they were just it was very much in the realm of hoaxum. But at the same time, they recently, on the size of crystal, the size of like a quarter, they were able to fit the entire human genome. Now, when we're talking about the amount of data that is, the amount of like terabytes of information that is, that's incredible. If you were to take the size of one of these crystal skulls and use that as essentially a memory card, you would be able to contain every thought and every syllable and every song and every book and every word and every language and every picture and everything that humans have done from the beginning of time to now, and still have room for the next 10,000 years of human advancement in one of these skulls, because that's how much information crystal can store. And we've already done the study on that. They, like I said, they just did one on a little disc the size of a quarter, and that it had more room too. But we're talking the entire human genome sequence of every race of every human being on Earth, and that fits on a quarter. Wow. So now we're talking about liquid crystal. What are they able to store and manipulate and do with that type of technology? It's fascinating.
Natural examples of it is cell membranes and DNA.
Yep. Why not?
They can be solid and liquid at the same time. I've gone down this whole rabbit hole now. I'm just over here reading all sorts of stuff. I'm like, this is awesome.
Nick from the Occult Rejects, when I did this presentation on his show, was fucking amplifying, because there was a panel of people there, and I had to fucking like not curse and not stutter, right? He told me something very funny. He goes, I think you stepped on shit. And I was like, I think I did too. And everybody started like, bro, we got to look this up. So they started looking up the liquid crystal glass and the technology behind it. And then what you said, DNA, bro, one drop of blood. What does it have? It has all of the history of the history of the history of your fucking ancestors. There's movies and there's a game that talks about how they use the memory of your DNA to change the past through light technology. Assassin's Creed, hashtag look it up. I'm not making this up.
It's
right?
funny, we were just talking about that game.
We were, because it's one of the best game franchises ever.
Just the other day.
Yes.
But also, as we're talking about liquid crystal, y'all understand LCDs, like your television? That's liquid crystal display.
Yeah, it is.
Ohio.
Yep.
I feel like a lot of people don't like really know that. And then now knowing what we know about liquid crystal, this gives a whole nother meaning to it.
And like your phone is a mirror with liquid crystal glass. And what do? Using what? Light with the information into your habit mapping. Bro, we went full circle.
I'm just saying. And then we already know that watching TV or being just doom scrolling on your phone, you go into a light hypnosis. And that's trackable. They could hook diodes up to your brain, and when you watch TV for more than 60 seconds, no human is immune to this, by the way. For more than 60 seconds, you go into, Jonathan broke this down because he's a hypnotherapist here, but I think you go into your alpha state. And people think that means like, survival, fight or flight. No. That is a low-grade hypnosis where certain things of the outside world kind of drift away and you kind of get a tunnel vision. Not fully, not 100%, but you get a little bit of a tunnel vision whenever you're staring at a screen for more than 60 seconds. Once again, this is not a hypothesis. This is trackable, scientifically proven.
Which is wild, because you see people that will doom scroll for hours on end and not even realize it. And they're just like, oh, what did I do? It's like, oh my God.
Oh no, because then
crazy.
They're addicted to the hypnosis at that point. They're not just
you're also getting quick synapses of, dopamine hits every few seconds as you scroll.
Yep.
And what did they steal away from you and your family and your children and everything else?
Time.
The influence and the fucking time.
Shit that you can't get back. Absolutely.
Never.
So, this is fascinating. I am like down this whole rabbit hole now.
Now you done did it, Trebles.
Thank you for that.
That's fucking awesome, bro.
So, okay.
Yeah, man, I had fun.
Couple of follow-up questions just about the production of the book. So, like, Raven Lee and I have bounced around the idea of, and we've had cult members reach out and say, like, bro, of all of the episodes y'all have done, have you ever thought about just compiling them into a book, or even like a small novelette or something like that, just to put something out there? And I'm like, dude, I have no fucking idea what goes into that. It's like, oh, you just go with the publisher. That sounds easy enough, but it also sounds more difficult. So, like, what was the process of you actually writing, compiling, producing this book?
So there's a thing, like you and I, all of us, I guess, at least in this panel, there's something that we are naturally at, and it's we like reading, we like research, and we like putting out original content. So I'm not beating on any other content creator out there, a podcaster. Kudos, do what you got to do. I'm gonna do it on my lane. So what I'm trying to say is, first and foremost, you can't just get information that you heard on Sam Tripoli's tinfoil hat. Right. And then regurgitate it. You can't. You have to take 5 seconds of your day to go to the search bar, get out of that fucking hypnosis, tunnel vision, ass shaking videos on TikTok, and then do the research yourself and start building the thesis. You have so much information in your brain already, Jacob, that you could put out, hey, you know what? There's pattern recognition here. Depending on the category of what you want to put out, then writing a book should be fairly easy for you if you know what direction you want to go with, what thesis, what idea you have, if you want it to be poetic or not. Then you could also utilize the tools like AI to start structuring for you. When it comes to more of the physical stuff like publishing, editing, do it. If you do it on Kindle, maybe we should do this in the background, but the publisher part, you could completely bypass and go directly to Kindle. And I think it's Kindle, Amazon, published book, I believe, something like that. Just put that on Google and then it pops up and then you can just create the thing. If you have an Amazon account, you could create it easily. And then it tells you the rules on how to how to put a forward, the title, the context, table of context, and then you have the body. And then obviously, once you see all the things that you need, like the little checklist that it has that you have to follow to be able to create a book, then you go back to your freaking notes and then you start building the manuscript, right? And you put chapter 1, you start writing all your stuff, chapter 2, and then you start going, and then you proofread it yourself. Then comes the hardest part, the art. Then you have to work on the art, on the cover, on the side corner, the back art, if you want any, and the presentation, the introduction, if you need a forward or not, the people that the names that you wanted to be involved with the title, and then same thing. Kindle makes it so easy for you. And I'm not promoting Kindle at all here. I'm just giving you what I use, right?
Yeah.
Kindle makes it so easy for you to look at the little checklist. It's a 5 checklist thing. You just check 1, check 2, check 3, and it takes 2 brain cells to rub together. So I'm sure that you could do it easily, right? And then you just put it all together. The hardest part for me was the editing portion. And I'm not talking about Grammarly. I'm talking about so that it can fit inside the little window of the book. So if you choose a book size on how you want the book to be, paperback or hardback or whatnot, then it'll give you specific sizing for the pages,
like the margins.
So the margins. So you would have to fit your shit inside all the letters and all the commas or whatever, the spacing, and even the font has to be perfectly fit in those margins. That was the hardest part for me. I spent almost 7 days fucking fixing the spaces just to find out recently that one of the people that read the book told me, yo, your spacing's fucking trash. And I'm like, fuck, I know. I can't do shit about it now. It's already done.
Oh, man.
What part of it's trash?
I don't understand. Like, so it doesn't like give you a template to inlay all of your writing. So that way it's already automatically in the margin settings, like how you write in a Word document.
It gives you the template, but it doesn't fix it for you. You have to go back to your Word document and fix it yourself, and then go back. And I'm talking about every line of every paragraph on every single chapter. Because if you move one sentence over, it'll move all the other ones and the other pages and the other pages. So it's
shit. So
well, yeah, because like in Word, if you want to change your margins, you can just go in and you type exactly what you want in, and it will like specify specifically how it changes and alters it.
Well, that part I missed because
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, all you have to do there is an actual place that you can change down to, like if you wanted it 2.72, you can put in 2.72 and it will alter it completely for you for every page moving the whole entire book. So whatever you write in there, it actually specifies
that entire portion.
I've written a lot of stuff, so that's why I happened to know, and it wasn't. I had to learn. Don't worry.
So
I didn't just.
So Jacob, through her, I guess that's your weapon right there.
So let me ask you.
Well, did you?
Go ahead, Raven. Go ahead.
I was wondering. So with you using specific. Like, did you use anything specific? Like, did you have to do in-text citations? Did you have like a citation in the back of the book? Like when you're using other information that you found, or you just kind of compiled your own information together and then rewrote what you wanted to write?
This is exactly what I did. I prepared. Obviously, first I'm a podcaster, right? So the first thing I did was I got all my notes, and then I read my notes over and over and over, and I was adding things like side tangents, a little bit of my character in it. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start adding that. So then that's why you saw me stutter a lot, because I was trying to jump over my characteristic phrases that I would say during the show as if it was one of my show, right? So I was like, what the heck? And so that's what I would do. So what I did was I added my personification onto my notes. So when you read my book, and I'm not saying every book is like this, but when you read my book, you're reading my notes. That's all it is. And just you'll see some flares of me telling you, like, fucking stop being a lazy ass and go look it up yourself if you don't believe me. And then but I'll put the person's name, the scientist's name, the date that I found it on. But like in the back of the book, you won't find anything but a prayer. And then the introduction in the back cover. But I made it like that because it's a personalified book. At the end of chapter 2, it was difficult for me because at the end of chapter 2, I was going through the whole scenario at my house through the divorce, like the main portion of the divorce, like the hardest peak moment of emotional distress. And I didn't want to finish the book. And I put that in there. I was like, you motherfuckers are getting something that I don't want to do. Like, I'm doing it out of pure discipline. Like, emotions are fleeting. You could be motivated one day and not be motivated one day, but you still have to wake up and go fucking make that bread. And this is me making the bread right now. So, it gets emotional with me. So now the reader doesn't only get to see what I'm reading and what I'm thinking, what the thesis is, but also, damn, the emotional trials of this motherfucker right now. So it's
Personal.
customed personal to me. So when people read the book, it's not gonna be like, oh yeah, he's just trying to make things about portals and trees. No, bro, you're in my head. You're literally in my head, and you're gonna go through
That's really cool.
Emotional shit.
This isn't some sort of a technical paper. This is a passion project of yours.
Yes,
absolutely,
and it connects directly to the show because and
it's
also. When I read the notes for the first time ever, I did it as my first solo episode ever. So if anybody wants to hear that solo episode, which came out fucking awesome with zero editing, it's on Rumble out today. Go check it out.
That's
it's called
awesome.
Liminal Trees.
No shit.
Well, Jacob would definitely have to be the one to write a book for us then, because there's no way. I am way too technical in how I write. And so I would have in-text citations citing everything from everywhere. I'd have a whole, probably like a 200-page freaking citation list of people.
Very polished stuff. And you know what? That's good too.
That's because I had to do it for so much of my schooling. That's the only way that my analytical brain, if I'm going to write on a subject, I need to be subject matter expert, and I've read 1,000,001 pages of information, and that's the only way I could do it. But he'd be like, la la la, this is all of this information.
But that's what I'm saying, Raven. We got to blend our minds here. So I'm over here because I can't.
I'm way too much of a perfectionist. There's no way we could do this.
I wouldn't be able to type it out. I would have to audio record it and have it transcribed because there's no way.
I did portions of that. I
can't sit here and type it out for hours. It will never get done because I would rather fucking die. I'm sorry. I'm just not going to do that. However, I could sit there and talk and record myself and have it transcribed into text, go back and edit out parts that I didn't like the way that was worded, or redo this part or whatever. And then because I know what the fuck I'm talking about, I could go back and cite the work, and we could do that. And so see, it would have to be a combo. There's the only way that this can happen. Otherwise, it's going to be the ramblings of a retard or a technical manual. See, we need the blend.
The ramblings of a retard is fucking dumb.
Yo, I'm just saying, awesome. I'm fully aware of who and what I am. Okay, I know
he
what
would
I'm talking
be
about,
off on 12 different side tangents to get back to the main point. To be okay, this is this. Meanwhile, mine's going to be one of those things of man, you better buckle up, Buttercup, and to read some scientific ass shit, because that's the only way I'm going to be writing anything. Because
if you guys put that scientific portion of technicality out of you, Raven, with a little spice of Jacob's side tangent, and just hey, look over here, that's fucking awesome. It's magic, bro. I think that's fucking awesome.
It would be an interesting book. We would have to really pick what we would want to talk about, because
I'm thinking about just pretty much an all-encompassing conspiracy manual.
That just sounds like so much stress and work to me.
My boy wants to do. We're in a community of podcasters. You can fucking. There's some big ones and little ones and stuff. And he's like, we need to make a conspiracy, a podcast. A conspiracy. Recipe book. I was like, what? Ooh. So each conspiracy podcaster has his own plate? That's genius. Or drinking.
That's actually really cool. That's a good idea.
Oh, dude, a fucking cookbook of the conspiracy base.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Sick ass food.
That's actually pretty fucking. That's a really cool. That's a cool idea.
Kyle, Chef from Sunday Night Secret Societies. He's the one that fucking. That's his idea.
Chef.
So
he's actually the one that told us about your book. He came on the live and he dropped it in the live for all of us to hear about it.
Yeah.
So he was the first one, and before you got everything
full circle,
up.
Baby. The love is real.
Crazy.
I tell you what, we might even get on that, honestly, because I could just see the cult of conspiracy. Obviously, Gumbo would have to be it, but we would have to be really clearly humorous with the sausage made from the German propaganda machine of World War II, right? And the chicken of the dude, we'd have to go
the
all
spices that little kids had to fucking
the garlic,
get
man. Like we would have to put in the garlic situation. Like, oh yeah, no.
The spices that the British Empire stole but never used a single one of them. Yeah, like for real. I love it. Oh, this would be fucking
that's
great.
Yeah, it's funny, bro. I'm telling you, good shit.
The drink we can make it with the sugar cane somehow.
Yes.
And be like,
yes.
Yeah.
It would have to be rum or agriculture. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Code is making Code from Speaking in Code podcast. Shout outs to Code, man. He said he started doing Street Fighter characters of all of us. So every fucking conspiracy podcaster has their own fucking secret power, and he's making Street Fighters out of all of us. So yeah, it's everybody fucking brings in something to the table, bro, and then uplifts each other with conspiracy topics, but also brotherhood, bro, and humanity, bro. Great shit.
Samuel has we're D&D characters, so the platypus has us as little D&D characters. So
our spirit animal has a D&D campaign that he's starting from scratch, and he has us in
Web of Mysteries.
Yes,
Web of Mysteries.
You know what we call him? We call him the crock pot because he fucking slow cooks, bro. And then when the lid's open, dog, that motherfucker doesn't shut up, man. He goes in.
Sam is a wealth of knowledge,
Sam.
but he is
the wildest knowledge too, like the most random shit, and it's like what?
The motherfucker. Cooks,
shout outs to the homie Crockpot.
I cannot. The crock pot. Oh,
the crock pot. That actually, you know what? That actually really does encompass him.
It does.
We shout him out all the time. He's fucking badass.
Yeah, and I'm so glad he got his podcast up and running. He was talking about it for a good long while, but finally getting into it. And that's another one, dude. Every time I get on the gram, I see him in some sort of a panel discussion on some other pod, and I'm like, look at our boy. Look, our boy is out there doing the damn thing.
He's going everywhere, man. We see a lot of people. We see a good chunk of people that are on everybody's everything, and so it's pretty cool getting to see that. It's a small community, but somehow large at the same time, which is really wild. So
it's got tentacles in it.
You know what I want to do? I want to make a makeup palette of conspiracles, but that's because I'm also into makeup.
Bro.
So
that's another thing too. The female,
there's not a lot of female.
But they're more now. As a matter of fact, a lot of the content creators that I watch, their wives, who clearly, listen, if anybody doesn't know, typically any male YouTuber you've ever seen, any male content creator you've ever seen, if they have a significant other, they don't fucking watch their content or listen to it because that's just not the way that goes. They have other shit they're doing, right? However, more females that I'm hearing and more of these content creators' wives that I'm hearing from are saying that they are diving in on conspiracies lately. That is a thing that women now more than ever before are interested in. They are digging into it. And granted, for your average woman out there, their level of conspiracies might be, oh my God, did you hear that the Kardashians might be doing satanic rituals? And it's like, okay, first of all, welcome to 2008 when we all knew that. But okay, cool. I'm glad that you're catching up and all these things. But the fact that more women are diving into the conspiratorial mindset, Raven, I actually think you might have a little bit of a diamond in the rough idea on that one. Come out with a conspiracy makeup palette. I have no idea what the money is like with that, but go for it.
Oh, I've done a lot of research into it. It's very difficult to do something like that. But there's all different things that I'm interested in that I would be totally down to do, especially for the women in the community and stuff. Because we have a good number of them that actually are affiliates. And so it would be really cool to get the females all together and do something. But that's just, me. But
no, I agree.
fun ideas though. Definitely. The book for you and I, that'd be one hell of a time.
You know what, bro? That'll be fucking dope. Bonding for you guys, and also bonding with the occult, with the what's it called?
Cult members,
the cult members, because shit, man, it's for them too. So shout out to all the cult members out there opening up the third eye.
Oh yeah, we just had a good little check-in today on our Patreon, checking in and everybody and making sure everybody's doing okay, having just a little family bonding time kind of a thing, making sure everyone's good. So we do check in, we do talk to everybody. It's a good time. I really enjoy a lot of our Patreon members and stuff because we do a lot of extra behind the scenes content and just, making sure everybody's good and chatting about all the different stuff. So if you haven't joined our Patreon, you should.
You should. I will give the shameless plug for that. Actually, I can do that now, but I still wanted to ask Trebles more questions about this book.
Go ahead. Well, you do.
Might as well give the shameless plug. Good cult members out there listening on all of the audio listening platforms. If you would like to see our faces and also get these shows absolutely commercial free, y'all, then the only place to go, the best place to go, would be to patreon.com/Cult of Conspiracy Podcast. When you go there are a couple of tiers for entry. You go to that $5 a month tier, and you get all of what we just said. You get these shows a couple of days in advance, sometimes even a week in advance, depending on how we put things to the editor and how quickly she could put it out on the Patreon. But like I said, you also get these shows completely commercial free, which is good shit. And then if you go to that Third Eye All the Way Open tier, you get that. And you also get to join us every Tuesday night for our cult member live events. It's always a blast. It's always unhinged. Come meet the crock pot himself, a.k.a. the spirit animal. Come meet the resident Jewish correspondent, the resident furry correspondent. We got a resident lesbian correspondent. We got them all. We are a widespread community over here at the Cult of Conspiracy. We judge no one except for pedophiles, and we love all except for pedophiles. So come over and check us out over there on the Cult Member Lives. But also, if you join that Third Eye All the Way Open tier, you also get to join Raven Lee for her book club every Sunday night. Raven, tell them the things.
Yes. So earlier tonight was our book club. It actually went fantastic. We go over some questions that I posed earlier in the week, and then we kind of get off in little side tangents. And basically for 1 hour, we are getting together to talk about the book. Right now, we are finishing up Fahrenheit 451. Our next book is going to be Hidden History by Donald Jeffries. Apparently, it's a really good conspiracy book, and God is Love is the one that recommended it. And so we're going to be jumping into that for next month. And basically, we just talk about conspiracies. We talk about everything there is about this crazy ass world and how we've been lied to pretty much about everything. So if that's interesting to you, join the Third Eye All the Way Open or above to be able to attend this every Sunday at 9 p.m.
And like she said, that above tier would be that top tier, that manic tier, where you will get everything that we just listed out. However, you will also get exclusive merchandise mailed to your door directly to you by us, for you, as a massive token of our appreciation for you supporting us in this way. Raven Lee right now is holding up one of these shirts on screen right now. That is only going to be available on the Manic tier. We are in the process of getting an online merch store up and off the ground. However, those shirts will never be available on the online store. Those will only be available to the Manic tier Patreon support members of our cult. And we thank everybody who's already gone and done so. But also, Trebles, I did want to ask you, so going through the route of the Amazon publishing rather than a regular publisher, again, I am completely, and this might be a really stupid question. I've never looked into this. It's cheaper, I'm assuming, but like how much does it cost to go through a publisher? And I understand, like, to produce a book, if it's hardcover versus paperback, and, like, I understand there's levels of, like, the production and more money one way or another on this. But to go through a publisher, I have no idea what they cost.
Me neither.
Oh, okay.
I didn't go through it. I didn't even explore the idea. I saw that it was free, that it is paperback, and that people do it, that it's directly on Kindle. Yep. And there's a huge market for like ebooks. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to kick it with Amazon for a bit. Plus, I'm working on Liminal Water. That one's probably going to be with the publisher because I'm going to get some professional help to do it. So Liminal Water is the sequel to Liminal Trees. And it's going to be talking about how fire is a portal and water is a portal and air is the domain of the Prince of Evil, right? The fucking the author of lies. But how air is technically the ether, and the domain is what we use. Everybody uses the internet. And what are the websites called? Domain. So it connects it to satanic worship using the elements. Very interesting stuff. I'm still working on the research on that, but it's not fucking easy. And I don't have the time because I'm either a father, a creator, or a full-time provider at the same time. It's freaking hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I don't know how much publishers are. I'm pretty sure they're expensive and they're probably going to want some down, some cheddar.
I had a neighbor that was, she wrote a children's book and she had published it and all these things. And I remember her bitching about the process of it and talking about how expensive it was and how the publisher was screwing her and how, the manufacturing, there was some sort of a holdup and this, and this. I heard pretty much from her, I heard nothing but negativity. But then I got guys like you who say nothing but positive things about it. And then old Doc talking about his the book, The Bloodlines of Esau. right? He's had nothing but very positive things about his book writing experience. There's been a few podcasters out there, or at least a few content creators, I should say, and I don't like that term, but you know what I'm saying, that make books, and they have relatively positive experiences overall. So, I mean,
logistically too, bro, Amazon can ship anywhere, bro. Logistically, like, it gives you the option to ship your book at any place of the world as long as there's human people and paved way and concrete jungles. You know, they're able to freaking ship it out and they'll pay you in that currency. So it's also very, if it's already there for like e-commerce, if it's already there, let them do all the fucking heavy lifting and you get creative.
Which, I mean, that's what Amazon started out of, was a book buying website. So, I mean, I guess it makes sense that they would be, like, geared up for that. So, fair enough.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. We might actually have to have that conversation, Ravenly.
Oh, God.
See about writing us a book.
Do you know how much research and time that's going to take me on my end?
Do you
You're
know?
just going to be out here wiling it out and be like, you know what? Like this, and that, this. And I'm like, no, we need all the research to back it.
Do you know that we are over 1,000 episodes and the vast majority of those have a lot hours
Congratulations
of research
on that, bro.
Appreciate that, brother.
It does. Every episode does take a lot of time and research. So
honestly.
But then, of course, there's new research, though, for half the shit that came out a few years ago. So
yeah, I guess we're gonna have a volume 2.
Oh,
yeah. You haven't even done volume 1.
Yeah, I know.
We haven't even put down one single word on a paper, and he's like, volume 2 and 3 and 4.
We're gonna have to have a whole box set, y'all.
What?
A whole fucking box set. Let's go.
Box set.
Yeah. Fucking and.
I'm gonna make gardening tools and gloves. That's what I'm gonna be out here doing. Okay.
Look, I want to make a survival kit as well, but I mean, we got to walk before we can fly.
What? But you're over here talking about book 4, 5, and 6 in a box set.
Look, I'm sorry. I believe in dreaming big, Ravenly. I believe in dreaming big. Okay.
All right.
It's only a dumb idea.
I guess I'm just here for the ride.
It's only a dumb idea if it doesn't work. Remember that. Anyway,
it's only a dumb idea if you don't put it to work, bro. You gotta do it somewhere. Like I tell the guys, a lot of people, my family, I don't speak to my family or anything or my friends, but I did something and I'm still continuing to do and impact people's lives. I'm doing something that no one in my bloodline had ever done, ever. That makes me different, it makes me unique, and it makes me that much better. And then I'm gonna do it again, and then I'm gonna do it again, and multiply and amplifying the message, and I keep writing it out. So it would have been a dumb idea if I would have just thought about it and never lived out what I really wanted to do, what I'm here for. So think about, man, what you guys are putting out, the combination, she doing the research, you doing the crazy stuff, and putting that creative power all together, bro, is only crazy if you don't put it out. Now that you're already fucking talking about it, you're gonna have to put it out.
Cult members, let us know what you think about it. As a matter of fact, not just us talking about it, but you know what? We want to hear from you in the comments. We want to hear from you on the socials. We want to hear from you on the Patreon, in the Spotify's. Let us know in the comments section, do you think if we were to make a book, would you be interested in reading it? Because honestly, I'm not thinking about just a topic. Like, for instance, Trebles, you went on how the trees are portals, and you broke this down like just all the way through. Deep, deep, deep. I'm thinking, hear me out, if we were to make a book with throwing out 20 chapters, and I'm arbitrarily throwing that number out. Could be 10, could be 50. I'm just arbitrarily, let's just say 20 chapters. Each chapter is a medium to deep range deep dive on a specific conspiracy theory. And the entire book, we keep it within, let's say we do a realm of just the CIA. Again, super arbitrary. We're just throwing out ideas here. A book all about the CIA's operations between like 60 to 75. And each chapter is a conspiracy, and we show all the documentation, all the citations, all the trail of history, and all the things. Or if it's about dragons, or if it's about ancient history not being what we think it is, or we look at some of the more crazy weather modification. We do a whole book on that, and we could do 20 chapters on weather modification. Easy, honestly. Just
a compilation of all conspiracy theories as conspiracy theories on training wheels, like just to the intro portions of level 1 conspiracies so that people can get attracted to it.
Exactly.
And you know what? That's not a bad idea, because you could gift that on a Christmas gift to the fucking crazy Karen and like, hey,
yes,
don't get scared. It's just, pattern recognition, man.
Oh man, that's the title of the book. Conspiracy theories for your blue-pilled aunt. That's the name of it. Okay. This is going to be a thing. Well, maybe not that. It's a working title. Good cult members, we want to hear from you. What do y'all think about it? Do you think this is a good idea? Would you buy the book? You know what? Before all of that, though, Trebles, we want to thank you for coming on the show this evening, brother, and blowing our minds with the deep, deep topics that we got on here today about the trees being portals, and you showed your receipts. You showed that you did your homework on this. I am personally impressed. If anybody wants to buy this book or follow you on the socials, listen to your show, if they haven't heard of you before, if for some reason they've been living under a rock and this is the first time they're hearing of Trebles Garcia, give yourself all the shameless plugs, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Trebles Garcia, and I am the host of the Trebles Show. We bring and challenge reality one episode at a time, every single episode, guys. I'm a father. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm a fucking red-blooded American, and I want exactly what you want. We want wealth, health, and beautiful children with beautiful women. That's what every single person wants. I'm just like you. I have the same struggles. I have the same love. I have the same respect for my elders. I have the same freaking things. Every single person that has gone through pain, that has gone through spiritual attacks, that has gone through emotional problems, I feel it all. I'm not special by any way. You know what makes us special? But having an intimate relationship with God. I could only tell you right now that you can't change the world. You could only change where your 2 feet lay, change your habits, your train of thought, and stop watching us on TikTok. Take 5 seconds of your day and hashtag look it up for yourself. And that's where all the changes actually come true. Your dreams come true. And if you're creative, fucking practice your creativeness, dog. Do not go to sleep. Don't be induced, and do not be fucking telepathically teleported, or whatever the fuck the word is. Don't be induced into this TikTok videos of ass shaking only. Do something that's going to make your life more profitable and better for your children and be a better example. Guys, you can find the Trebles Show on all podcasting platforms absolutely free. You could also check us out on YouTube. Surprisingly, the YouTube's sticking around, so we're there now, and we got to continue growing. And you could buy Liminal Trees on Amazon for $11 and $4 on Kindle. Guys, it's fucking cheap. You guys spend more fucking dollars buying weed, fucking paying your OnlyFans subscription on other people's asses and shit on a daily basis than my book one-time purchase. All right, so hashtag look it up. Liminal Trees, guys. Mad love and respect. Thank you so fucking much. I want to thank the Lord for allowing me to be here today, and I want to thank every single one of you for allowing me to enter your space. And the cult, I want to love you guys forever, guys. Mad shout outs. Thank you so much for letting me enter your space today and giving me your platform. This was a freaking legendary moment for me. I think it was the second time I've been here before. Shout outs to Jonathan, because I missed him so much and we haven't seen him. So mad love and respect, and shout outs to Meta Mysteries. And thank you so much. Raven Lee was beautifully, it was an awesome moment to fucking reach you and talk to you and enter your space as well. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks for coming on, brother.
Thank you. It was nice to meet you.
Absolutely. For all the good cult members out there that would like to get their start in the buying, selling, and trading of gold and silver bullion, they go to the link in the description below to cocsilver.com and get your start today. When you fill out your information, our homeboy Wayne Clark will be the one to reach out to you and get you started on your journey. Listen, talk to your financial advisor, talk to your CPA, and ask them what they think about the investing in precious metals. And I promise you, they're going to tell you the same thing that we've told you a million times. At least a portion of your retirement portfolio needs to be invested in precious metals. I'm not saying all of it. I'm saying that at least a good chunk of it. Now is the time to buy. Gold is ridiculously high up there. Silver is still under $100 an ounce. This coin right now, we started this program, this coin was just over $30. This coin is right now just under $100. That was less than, actually, just over a year ago as of time of recording. Get your start today, cocsilver.com, link in the description below. If you are somebody that likes to flavor your food and you actually enjoy real good, wholesome, healthy flavorings, then go check us out, Flavors of the Forest, and use the promo code CULT at checkout, CULT, to get 15% off your order. All orders over $30 is free shipping to your door. Listen, I'm not just telling you this because they're paying us, because honestly, I use this product daily, multiple times a day, as a matter of fact. And it is, oh my God, yo, you douse your fucking pie with this.
Oh,
and
my God.
The meatballs. On the meatballs.
It changes.
No, we literally put it on everything. We've put it on so much stuff lately. It's been ridiculous how much we eat it with. By the way, eat it with Top Ramen, because like some of us need to save some money. That shit with Top Ramen is like, it's really good.
Fuck yeah, it is. And be on the lookout here soon. I can't say if it's this week. I can't say if it's this month, but soon there will be a Cajun line offered on the Flavors of the Forest. I am collabing with Nelson, homeboy in charge over there, and we are making a Cajun seasoning, all natural, all healthy, all fucking fire. So get ready for that one. Go check them out. Flavors of the Forest. Use the promo code CULT at checkout once again. Another way that you can support the show, good cult members, and let us know what you think about everything that we talked about this evening. What do you think about Trebles' take? What do you think about the book? What do you think about the idea of Raven and I writing a book? We want to hear from you, good cult members, and the best place to do so would be to please hit the 5 stars, hit the shares, and like, subscribe, comments, leave a post, leave a review, and share it to friends and family. Share us everywhere. Here's the deal. The more activity the algorithm sees across all of our listening platforms, the more we get promoted to more potential listeners who could then become potential cult members like the rest of you. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, while you're in it, go check out Metal Mystics Jonathan's show and give them the same level of respect over there with the 5-star reviews and the positivity in the comments. Come check out the Cajun Night and come join each of us for our individual Patreon lives we host every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central. Links to those are in the description as well. And we thank you for everybody who's already gone and done so. With all of this being said, this was another beautiful episode of the Cult of Conspiracy. And I am the Cajun Knight.
I'm Raven Lee.
And there's one very important, extremely vital piece of information we need you to learn just as soon as humanly possible.